you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? We're kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, welcome back to the PUBG Mobile National Championship for the Nepal region, brought to you by the Oppo F19 Pro. This is Super Johnny, joined by Necro once again, and we will be continuing our journey of the semifinals, ladies and gentlemen. We saw the first 3 days where we saw all three groups go up against each other, and we saw an interesting comeback from Raw Official and EKTA Esports. But now, today, once again, we will witness teams from Group A and B stepping into the battleground, and maybe we're going to see a sort of pause on the comeback for a while. What do you think, Necro?
Exactly, as you did mention, I mean, the top three, pretty much three kings are there. One thing
Oh
we
yeah.
did not really expect is that Aikta to rule the charts. I mean, I wasn't really here for a really long time, so hopefully you guys didn't miss me. I'm just kidding. But yeah, still, I mean, Aikta is here on the top, and then on the second place, you have Raw, and then on third, you have JyanMaara. Still, DRS nowhere to be found. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, DRS, that's quite interesting because, again, I mean, it comes down to the same conversation we're having. I mean, DRS, they are just angry at everyone they are playing against, and they are only going for the kills. It happened in the quarterfinals, it's happening in the semifinals as well. But let's have a look at the prize money. I mean, what these players are fighting for, the
Yeah.
$30,000 that are there, with the first position walking away with the biggest chunk of the prize pool, $10,000 for those four lads that are going to be winning the trophy of of this national championship Nepal. But how do they do that? They do that by earning points in every single game. And again, as we were talking about DRS, they have accumulated so many kill points just by being super aggressive in the early game stages. It is nuts the way the team is playing.
I mean, look, it pretty much does show, right? The confidence that is here. I mean, especially if any of the teams don't have the confidence, that's what we expect to go for, right? I mean,
Yep.
especially kill points are the place where I mean teams usually tend to go when they have a lot of confidence in themselves. You can pretty much take example of PMPL. You can take under consideration Zoom. I mean, in the PMPL, they just had so much confidence that it was just rolling over teams. They had no strategy inside the game. They straight up used to go inside the circle, no rotate, nothing, just straight up just ram it, head position the wall, and then they were like, okay, let's just see what happens in forward. But yeah, I feel like something like that is the same case over here with DRS, but on the other hand, now they're not really on top of the card here. One thing we didn't really expect here is that Wayout SATAN. Now, it seems like Johnny, since I've been missing, Wayout SATAN has put in a lot of work, and what do you have to say about that?
I mean, we have Satan, as you mentioned. I mean, they have put in a lot of work and they have turned things around a little bit.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to see sort of comeback because even after getting themselves one good chicken dinner, they are still not in I would say a decent enough position in the overall standings to say that Way Out Satan will be safe from being eliminated and moving on to the finals. But let's see. I mean, talking about other things, we have the schedule in front of us. It's going to be A versus B, as we said, and Erangel, Miramar, Erangel, Sanhok, Erangel, the same 5 maps, same rotation as last week. But now this is going to be the hour of judgment, if you will, for a lot of the teams, especially from Group B, because they're going to be playing tomorrow and today and tomorrow, and then day after tomorrow on Sunday. These teams will be sitting out of the action, so there's going to be a lot of pressure to perform on Group B specifically.
As you did mention, there's going to be a lot of pressure without a doubt on these teams because now you also got to realize these are the semifinals. That means you got to make sure you're at least in those top 16 to qualify for the future rounds as well. But yeah, we'll be at the overall rankings again. And as I did mention, Wayout SATAN, it seems like they're doing quite great up until now. In top 8, I mean, got to say, the way they're looking quite shaky in the quarterfinals, right? And now Wayout SATAN has kind of moved up. So that's quite great. I'm actually happy for that team. On the other hand, TDK as well seems like starting to show their true colors from these starting days. But hey, I mean, you expect a team like TDK to actually be in that top 4, don't you?
I mean, I do expect the team to be in the top four, and we've been talking about this to see exactly what the team was doing. But as we were talking about Wayout SATAN, the last day, Sunday, was a really amazing performance coming in from the team, and they did manage to come into the top eight. Let's see if they can
Yeah.
sustain it today as well. But over on the other side, I mean, one of the most impressive teams apart from EKTA Esports has to be Vibes. Three-man
Yeah.
roster doing so well for themselves, sitting in the top five, something we did not expect to actually see when we saw in the early stage during the quarterfinals a team which is three players, and we expected them to struggle a little bit, but it seems like that's not the case. The roster just pops off every
Yeah.
single game. Malik, especially, just making sure that his team is getting those placement points really, really consistently. But over on the other side, there's another team that I'm sort of a little bit scared about. That is going to be Team Destiny, because look at them sitting on the 15th position, 61 points to their name, but it's still a position from where they can be taken out and they can drop out of the top 16 and not move to the finals.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, taking the fact into consideration that there's also a third page here. On the third page, I mean, you have some great teams, right? You have, okay, you got that BADCOPS, but then you have Let's Go Pubg as well, and then you have KINGsNepal. You can't really rule these teams out as long as they're not really doing great on the final day as well. But yeah, up now, I mean, in the quarterfinals as well, on the group stages, they have been doing quite great. But somewhere down the line now, it seems like a little bit of loss happening from their side. Maybe they just need a little bit of more breathing space. Maybe compared to Denver, they might just strike in and chime inside the game. But here we have head-to-head average stat of the lads of JyanMaara. I mean,
Yeah.
5 games. Take a look at that. I mean, absolutely wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is wonderful, but there has been a drop from in the performance of JyanMaara as well. Because the stats we see in front of us are the stats on day one versus day two, the 2 days of the first week of semifinals that we saw them play, and it was quite interesting to see the drop in performance from this team. Day one, they were just absolutely destroying the competition. Look at that, 16.6 points per game. That is impressive. But then comes day two, and the difference is cut down to 6.4. Did not expect that to happen. JyanMaara, they were getting taken out. I mean, just trying to force the fights was something that did not work out for them. So it's going to be super important to see JyanMaara sort of slow the pace down and try and see if they can make it to the mid-game stages, because that is where this team shines. But let's have a look at another head-to-head. These are the top two teams, ladies and gentlemen. EKTA Esports versus Raw Official.
Exactly. I mean, the EKTA, I gotta say, pretty much expected that we have gone themselves in the top place there on the overall ranking. So I gotta say, I have to give a lot of props to this team because just the way they played in the PMC as well. I mean, I did not expect them to actually dominate the NC that much. But hey,
Yeah.
I gotta give props to them. I gotta give respect as well. On the other hand, Raw, it seems like, well, they're removing EKTA on the overall rankings. I mean, the battle's going out pretty close, but still, seems like Raw will need to bring something more on the table. What do you think, though? What improvement have you noticed in the team of EKTA?
I mean, there has been a lot of improvement, but it's just the late game aggression that keeps them in a really really good position, and it always is sort of their unique trait in those team fights. In during the late game stages, EKTA is just absolutely unstoppable. It helps them out quite a lot that they have the players to sort of
Yeah,
take anything in early game stages as well, and that is the thing that makes this team really really deadly. But I want to focus a little bit more on Raw Official, because that is a team that plays sort of the textbook play in every single game. And this is sort of a more generic, more general statement with how Raw Official actually play. Early stages, every single fight, they try and disengage. They do not want to fight early. Post 15, post 16 minutes is when we see Raw actually trying to see if they can get a few kills here and there. And post 20 minutes, if they are still alive, then they're going to just go YOLO. Absolutely just run into those fights, get those kills as much as they can, and try and secure as many points as they can during the late game stages. And that is something that this team is really good at. Because of that, there is a lot more consistent performance from the side of Raw Official. On the other side of it, they have one bad day and then one really, really good day. And I don't know how they manage to do it, but they somehow still find their way inside the top eight. In fact, right now, sitting on the very first position, the top of the leaderboard.
exactly. As you did mention, I was sitting on the top of the leaderboard there. EKTA, I mean, they have kind of ruled themselves inside the top teams there, without a doubt. They have to be one of the best as well. But yeah, I feel like this is where we also get a little bit more time to talk about DRS now. I mean, their preferred location over here is without a doubt going to be Nepal. That's where they've been going since a long time, and that has been their solidified spot. But what we're really not seeing that solidified rotation coming inside, Johnny. If you remember in the PMPL, DRS used to kind of move it from the northern side and all the way. If they want to
Yeah.
make it inside the circle, then they used to go from the north side, like the upper side of Yasna Polnaya. Then they kind of used to go towards the ruins area, and then you actually used to make it inside the circle. So we're not really seeing that solidified rotation coming out from in the NC. As you did mention, there's just the hungry wolves, and they're out for blood.
Well, let's see. I mean, as you said, they are going to be out for blood, but there's one team that I want to see do that actually. That is going to be the squad of Ace. Ace, they haven't really had things going their way since the early days of the semifinals, and they're going to be in a lot of trouble sitting on the last position right now, the 24th. And it's going to be a troublesome situation. They just have 2 more days, 10 more matches to make sure that they find their way inside of the top 16, which is going to be a really big challenge right now. But this time, the circle is going to be a friend to them. We have a northern circle right now centered between sort of an intersection point between Rozok and Yasnaya Poliana towards the northern side, or obviously towards the northern island. And that is going to mean that all the teams rotating from the southern side, including JyanMaara and BADCOPS, will sort of have a tricky position. I mean, crossing those open areas, either you do it from the Gatka side, or if you are planning to go over the Novorevnoye bridge from the Milta area, it is going to be a bit of a challenge because you can get picked off if you're not being careful. So there's going to be an edge approach from these teams. The teams towards the center will just have no incentive to force any fights. So let's see how the early stages are going to go. Although towards the
Yeah.
western side of the map, we do have 3 different teams together, and I wonder if there's going to be an early scuffle between them.
As you did mention, are you like same thing? I'm wondering here, without a doubt. I mean, in the Georgetown area, you can see Raw, Fishtail Esports, and at the same time, OK Shot quite next to each other. So this is, of course, quite going to be an interesting affair. On the other hand, you have the lads of Cops. Unfortunately, they like to go towards no reply, but the plane fly path was a little bit far away, so they feel short to go there. I'm pretty sure they're going to be probably getting some vehicles and then maybe traverse to their preferred drop location, because if they do want that comfortable loot, it does make sense. You got to take any kind of risk, any kind of challenges to get to your place, and then try and loot for your safety or for your betterness in the future rounds as well. But yeah, here we have the lads of DRS Gaming. Pretty much do seem quite great in the area of Yasnaya. So I like this kind of fact here is that all the teams do know in Yasnaya there's DRS, and there you don't really dare to go inside because they do know DRS is one of the best teams out there. Why would you challenge them?
I mean, definitely, but I mean, why not? I mean, if you have an opportunity to take down one of the best teams who you know are just going to try and look for the fights in the early stages, just go for it.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to be able to come out on top and try and secure a few extra points for yourselves. And we know, I mean, DRS is definitely going to be a really tough team to beat. But if you actually do take them out in Yasnaya, you do to get control of a really big city. So it's sort of
Yeah.
a bit of a trade-off, and it's a really high-risk move. But you know what they say, risk to reward ratio, that is also going to be pretty good in terms of whether you want to go for that fight or not. But it's going to be a question on exactly where does the team that's looking to challenge DRS sit on the leaderboard. Because if you are high enough, I would say if you are in the top 8, you can go for it. You can risk the one or
Mhm.
two games just getting taken out early and losing out on points in those matches. But if you are anywhere below the top 10,
Mhm.
just play it safe. Don't go for those early game fights. Try and drop towards isolated position. Get your early game loot as easily as possible, and then
Yeah.
focus on those rotations. Play the edge game. Don't try and fight early. Go for those late game fights and secure those placement points as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, what you really said there does make sense, but look, there's a massive maybe in here, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's still a maybe, and I'm pretty sure all these teams don't really want to risk their games at this point in time because they do realize they don't really have a lot of games left in their hands, especially these are the semifinals. You never know. There might be some of the teams out there that might just clutch it on the last day, so why you got to take any chances, right? I mean, DRS, without a doubt, they're one of the best. They have confidence in themselves. They know that they can pretty much solidify themselves in the top 16, which they probably are doing. And in the end, even if it really does seem like for a team like DRS, no, maybe things are slipping out of hands a little bit here and there, they can probably start taking the competition more serious and try and focus on their rotations more and try and play the safe game. That's what we've seen them do in the PMPL as well. So this is what I pretty much expect from a team like DRS. On the other hand, though, a team like High Voltage, now I've mentioned this in the past. As soon as you take their name, the first thing does kind of pop up in your mind here is without a doubt going to be that tactical nature they bring inside the game. They're trying their best, but I feel like somewhere down line they're kind of lacking on that gunpowder. You only just have Assassin kind of stepping up in some moments, and Extreme is kind of a man who steps up sometimes, and who sometimes he's kind of being shut down easily. So I really want to kind of say one thing here is that try and set Assassin for success, and I'm pretty sure this man will take you to the this man will take you to the winning line.
I mean, I agree with that, what you said about high voltage lacking a little bit of gunpowder, but I have to say, in the
Mhm.
recent days, performances from Aussie have been more incredible than what
Yeah, yeah.
Assassin has done, and Aussie is definitely doing a really good job of making sure that one way or the other, his team is definitely going to be part of the action in the finals. But look at this. Okay, Shata, it looks like we're going to have a scuffle finally breaking out, a sort of skirmish between these two lads. King from OK Shata taking on Shawl from the side of Raw Official, and
Ooh.
a little bit of utility has been tossed out by both these lads. Shawl again going for the grenade inside the house, is definitely going to get the
Oh
knock
my
right
God.
there. King
Beautiful.
B getting taken out, and it's going to be an easy finish. 1 point secured in the early game.
1 point already being secured. Okay, Shata, well, not really having the time of their life. I mean, I do really also want to point here one thing out that uh, teams like CampToWin now, I mean, even if they're not really playing in here, you also got to talk about them, right? They are there in the
Yeah.
overall rankings, and they're trying their best to kind of make their mark up on the top of the leaderboards as well. So CampToWin, I mean, they've already had kind of a struggling entrance inside the semifinals, and until now in the semifinals as well, they are showing a lot of struggle. So I don't really know what to expect from teams like those because OK Shot as well. They seemed quite great in those late days, but it just seemed like okay, it's a little too late. You know, maybe try and precaution is always better than cure. So that's what I really want these teams to go for. You know, try not rely on those final days to kind of just make pull off a comeback. I mean, if a team like DRS does it, it's understandable. They have a lot of experience in the back. I mean, even if they are not really able to make it to the finals, no one's going to be doubting them because they just have such a strong image.
Well, let's see. I mean, as you said, they do have a really strong image, but as you did mention a few seconds earlier, prevention is going to be better than cure, and I agree with that completely, especially
Yeah.
for this team right now. Okay, Shata, I mean, 7 minutes inside of the game, by then you should have completed your loot and you need to be regrouped, but the players were spread apart because of that. Mr. Avi also got picked up by the players of, I believe it was Harame who got that kill, but look at that high voltage quite close to
Oh,
the players of KINGsNepal. Nixon is here in front of us, and he definitely hear those two vehicles move around on the other side of the ridge. Let's see what the decision from the side of KINGsNepal is going to look like. Are they going to try and force the fight, or will this team decide to back off just with the information that there were opponents near to them?
exactly. I mean, talking about a team like Kings Nepal as well now, this brings us to a quite a massive talking point. Now, in general, Kings Nepal have been pretty popping up since the group stages. They did show their mark on those boards without a doubt. They were quite impressive, especially considering the fact that they are the underdogs. But they also do have some people that have a little bit of a name in the Nepal region as well. But now, Kings, I feel like they are a team that might just be able to clutch it on the finals in the last nick of time. But again, as I did mention, precaution is better than cure, and you never really know, right? In the final days, I feel like a lot of teams that are on the latter half of the board, they are going to be trying their best to at least solidify in the top 16. So I feel like competition is going to be getting a little more intense in those final days, without a doubt. So I don't really know what kind of game plan is going to be saving them out of this year. But look at this now. Jane was down low. I gotta stop my conversation for a moment there. Jen was down low. Gotta thank his luck there. He's still out alive and looking pretty good. Just peppering down some bullets on the ladder PWP. Some suppressing fire. Not really able to connect anything, but hey, at least he has presented the fear in the lads of PWP.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, he has sort of a little bit of a fear has been instilled in him. And PWP, I mean, I think they saw one of his teammates sort of move close in the back
Yeah.
lines, and that is the reason why they decided to back off. Also, I mean, priority is always going to be to find some cover before you start taking the fights. Put the teams who are completely out in the open, and you never know when you will get third partied. So again, prevention is better than cure, and to be preventing anything bad from happening to themselves, just backing off completely. But now this is a team that we have to focus on. Ace sitting on that 24th position in the overall leaderboard. What exactly is going to happen to this team? That is, I believe, the biggest question that a lot of uh, a lot of the fans are going to be asking themselves.
Exactly. I mean, fans are definitely going to be asking that, but Ace is the one who will have to answer to the fans. In the end of the day, they are the one who are going to be showing their faces to the fans, so they better do not disappoint. But on the other hand, now Jari, well, getting caught off guard out in the open. Let's go Fishtail. How are they just going to let this man go away like that? Pretty sure they're going to be the trailblazer here, and they're just going to follow Ichari wherever he goes. I mean, he's trying his best to kind of block the vision of the lads of Let's Go Fistail. But look at Ale, though. He's wrapping up all the way in the left lines. Ichari has no clue what's happening in front of him. Ale now probably is going to be making that flank angle. Yep, it's a 3-1 split going in. Ale's position still uncompromised. And yes, it's pretty much going to be an easy knock on Ichari. Unfortunately, a big man has fallen down from a big squad. And that's going to be a little bit of disappointment here.
Yeah, it is going to be disappointing to the fans, but Chari, he had to realize he was out in the open, a good position for the players of Let's Go. Again, the players were regrouped together, so there was support, and that allows Ale to actually go for this aggressive position, but now he needs to back off as well, as he's being surrounded. Look at the high ground. We do see the players from Skylightz Gaming moving in into position to try and take this one individual out and try and get a trade for themselves, but the backup is here, and Let's Go, they will be able to recover their man, their comrade, who was sort of split away from the team, but now back inside the cover, and it looks like Skylightz Gaming, they might be in a little bit of trouble, but Chari has not been finished off yet. That is the thing in question now, Neko. Chari is still, I mean, he's knocked out, he's bleeding out, but he's still not finished. And as long as there is a possibility for a revive, I believe Skylightz Gaming, they just might be able to make a comeback into this fight. Leon on one side, on the low ground towards the left, and on the high ground, we do have Joker, who has managed to take the ridge for himself.
Yeah, even if Chari isn't really, I mean, finished, now he has been completely finished. But you also got to keep one fact in your mind is that even if Chari is not here, you also got to know that some kind of gunpowder has been subtracted from that squad, right? Now, one man falling down is quite big, especially from a squad like Skylightz Gaming. Each and every single man is kind of a diamond player, right? He makes his plays happen, and especially a man like Chari falling down. Imagine how much gunpowder has been subtracted from that squad. So Leon single-handedly cannot try and go for a revive there. He needs a little bit of backup in the back lines, but unfortunately, Leon was the only man in the close lines there. So he decides to back off and try and traverse inside the circle. But look at the circle. Now, Okishata is only the team that is actually in the centralized part. Now, that is absolutely great because they have the compound that is in the center. That means we expect Okishata to at least kind of dominate the entire field. But this also means that they are also going to be on that receiving end because they're probably going to be the center of attraction.
Yeah, well, they are going to be a center of attention for now, but they have to be careful as well. I mean, as you did mention, the shift of the circle to the extreme northwest is going to be a bit of a curveball. And look at the teams that are going to be rotating from the western side of the map. Everyone seems to be crossing towards the Stalba Hill, and then will try to move west from there. It is going to be a really tough position on the edge of the circle to try and see if fights are going to happen. But for now, we do have the squad of KINGsNepal, and they will have a relatively easy entry into the circle. But let's see. It is going to be the fights that will break out after you are inside the circle that will be the biggest challenge for a lot of these teams. And Let's Go, absolutely no incentive for them right now to try and force anything. So just holding on to the cover, I believe, is going to be the thing that gives this team an advantage, an edge over the other squads.
Yeah, exactly. Now, as you did mention, the team that actually always try to stay around the cover, that probably has the most edge over here. But again, it really just depends on the circumstances, right? How things are going to be panning out when the circle is. And this is what I really like to say sometimes. I mean, yeah, of course, you do realize you need a lot of skill in the game of PUBG, but also it has a little bit of luck involvement in. Now, no matter how much you do try, sometimes you will be screwed by the zone, which is quite unfortunate. I know it's kind of mean to say as well, but hey, that's just how the game works. Maybe you will just need to up your prediction game a little bit. Maybe you'll just need to, you know, to go through a lot of games in the past as well and try and realize where the circle actually shifts and try to just develop that game sense in general. Look at here. Delta now firing off a little bit of shots. Unfortunately, the kill hasn't been found. That means let's go for still. I mean, Aayo Team Ts, my bad. They're still looking great, at least as long as they're not really getting any casualty on their side. They will be feeling great. They will be kind of opting out for those rotations, but I feel like they need to stop somewhere just to get a little bit of breathing space that would try and refresh their mindset inside the game as well.
I agree with that. I mean, the refreshing of the mindset is definitely going to be required for this team, but let's see. I mean, they need to be able to reset from that fight, just back off a little bit, and then try and see if they can find a position to re-engage from. But for now, we do have the players of PWP in front of us as well, and right behind them is going to be the squad of JyanMaara. And the circle moves towards the side of JyanMaara on the high ground. That gives
Yeah.
them an advantage to try and re-engage in the fight. But talk about re-engagement, and it looks like let's go. There is pressure being put on the squad by the players of Skylightz Gaming. One of the individuals from the side of Let's Go has been taken out, but let's see if finish can be secured as well.
Look at those desperate rotations happening, and this is where Heaven will be caught off guard. Unfortunately, Skylightz Gaming, oh no, maybe scouting out the compound beforehand would have been a better choice, but unfortunately they didn't really do that. Skylightz Gaming, again, one of those teams, they do know they have their mark in the top 16 without a doubt. They have solidified their place, but what is going on? They're getting absolutely obliterated from all the different angles. Let's go Fishtail. Seems like they've improved quite a lot since the past days. Their gunpowder seems on another level for now. Look at this nade. It's going to be quite close. I feel like this nade might just be it. It's quite close. Unfortunately, didn't really deal any damage because Leon decided to back off, and that's why Joker did the same thing with him. But look at that. Losing a straight-on 1-to-1 gunfight just like that, Joker. I feel like he's definitely going to be disappointed a little bit in himself, but hey, Let's Go Fishtail finally showing themselves on board and single-handedly eliminating a squad like Skylightz Gaming. This is a massive statement being made from these lads. I mean, I do know they have it in them, but unfortunately, Let's Go Fishtail wasn't really looking that great on the overall rankings.
I mean, definitely, as you said, not looking too great on the overall rankings, but I believe this is going to be the fight that can sort of change the morale of the entire team and make them feel a little bit more comfortable in the future fights and the matches that they're going to be playing today. But for now, JyanMaara, they are putting a lot of pressure on the players of BADCOPS who are totally focused on the lads from PWP Esports. They did manage to find a knock with a wonderful grenade going in the direction of PWP, but Ace, as they try and find a position inside the circle, they're going to get sandwiched. JyanMaara from one side and the squad of Aayo Team Ts on the other. Ace just last player surviving, and there's going to be a lot of damage being dished out on Chandu right there. Chambu, I'm sorry. Gunner with the M4 is going to try and go for the spray, but Chambu is currently prone down in the open area, just hiding behind that sort of tower that's there and the buggy. But let's see if he's going to be able to survive for a long time. In the meanwhile, though, BADCOPS doing a wonderful job, just taking out a lot of players in those situations. JyanMaara, Samir is going to be taken down as well. Genghis Khan, we see him moving in. And Gunner in the backlines as well, but Maskey, he's going to try his level best, has the Uzi in his hands, and if he can go for a close range fight, he might be able to find a knock, and he does actually find the knock. In fact, two players from the side of JyanMaara have been taken down, but Maskey is going to be finished off by the nade from Genghis Khan, who did actually toss it out before he was taken down. So,
oh my god,
just backing off right there for Maskey. He's going to be the turnout. It's going to turn out to be the decision that finishes him off.
I do feel so bad for him there. Oh my god, I absolutely feel bad for him. I mean, he was doing such a great job, right? I mean, he was the only man surviving from BADCOPS. He had a lot of responsibility on his shoulder, a lot of burden. He tried his best to kind of keep his team alive, but unfortunately, he didn't realize there was an aid being lobbed in, and I still don't understand why would he just step inside, because even I realized that, okay, he had caught him off guard while he was throwing a nade. The nade was lobbed inside as well. That means if you haven't really heard it blow up, why would you just step inside the shack just like that? You know, it's kind of a questionable decision, but hey, I mean, yeah, I do feel kind of bad for him. But hey, taking a look at the circle shift as well, look at DRS now, looking quite great inside the circle. They do seem to have all their 4 players alive, so that's absolutely great, and they are just standing in that one single spot. No, they're actually quite separated out. Look at that. Nima and his teammate are close, and then you have Gelson and Mafia all the way on the other side. Now, I don't really like the split. Now, 2 to split, it's fine. It's understandable. Sometimes it's good, but it also really depends on how much distance you have between the 2 lads, right? Now, over here, DRS's distance is a little bit too much, and that's why I feel like they might have to face the consequences for that. But hey, take a look at Mafia Ninja. Up till now, it's been quite great. I mean, you know, chipping out the damage on the lads of CampToWin. Gotta say that CW are doing quite a great job, at least out surviving the lads of DRS, but they also need to realize that they need to move inside the circle. If they don't really stop this kind of, what do we say, kind of complete, you know, just bullet raining down onto him. If they don't really stop this rain onto them, I feel like it's going to be a tough time to get out of that position.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's not going to be easy at all, but look at the teams and the status of the players that are alive for those teams. Ace with just Chambu, T2K down to 1 player, Aayo Team Ts down to 1 player. High Voltage looks like they haven't really
Oh
started
my god.
taking the fights in the early game stages, but an amazing spray connected by Carlson right there, and Archbeast is going to be taken down. Abinash is going to be taken out by the players as well. AJ getting another knock on towards the players of CampToWin, and it looks like the team is going to be a little out of trouble, but talk about trouble and Ace. They are just straight up going to get eliminated from this game, already getting taken out, which is 2 kills. Aayo Team Ts, they're going to suffer the same fate a few seconds later. We're down to 11 teams, 36 players.
Exactly, we're down to 11 teams now. DRS though, still not really letting go. The lads came to win. It seems like they just have their tails kind of in their hands and they're not going to let them go that easily. On the other hand, High Voltage, again, as I did mention, lacking a little bit of gunpowder there. That's why they will have to face the one side. And, well, again, getting eliminated onto the 11th position by the lads of now. And gotta say, they have stepped quite a lot. They're firing on all the cylinders. They're in top 8. So I'm quite impressed by the lads of Wales from how much they have improved from those group stages. And up till now in the semifinals, they're doing a great job with keeping themselves up in the top 8. That means they're probably going to be the one to actually do the finals as well. But yeah, on the 9th position, CampToWin getting eliminated, and it's probably going to be all props given to the lads of TRS. They were just putting so much pressure onto them. But on the other hand, look at Gunner now. Gunner is quite next to the entire squad of King, but look at this now. JyanMaara still a little bit separated out. I mean, they have all 4 of their players alive, but I don't really like where they are coming in through. And look at this. Yep, I knew this was going to happen. They're a little separated out. They will have to face the consequences. This is exactly what is happening. Gunner's position being compromised. Gunner being taken out. That's it for the squad of JyanMaara. Kings doing quite a great job. And as I did mention, in the final days, teams that are in the latter half, they're going to be giving their best.
I mean, you did mention it. That's exactly what we're witnessing right now from this team of KINGsNepal. 6 kills already secure, taking out the players of JyanMaara. And as you said, the fact that the players were spread apart from each other was the thing that was detrimental to their performance inside of this game. But look at this, raw officials still present and still part of all the action. DRS as well, this time getting 10 kills for themselves. Again, there is no cap to how much aggression DRS will be putting in once they make it to the late game stages. 2 players from the side being taken out, but raw official Fragboy is going to be blown to bits and pieces, and it's going to be up to Shawl to try and see if he can take out Nima as well, try and see if he can get an advantage. But a wonderful nade coming in from Nima, and Shawl is going to be shut down. Raw official, 2 players in the backlines, Gyalzin and Nima trying to hold on strong for their teammates, trying to see if they can survive. A lot of utility is being used. Susan and Sada in the backline. Susan's going to be taken down from the flank. That provides DRS with a wonderful opening. They need to go for a revive on Mafia Ninja and try and see if they can survive with all 4 players to the late game stages. Sada, he's bleeding out slowly and steadily, and the blue zone is going to be the thing that takes out Raw official on the 5th position. Down 4 teams, 13 kills being secured by the players of DRS. The team is not looking to stop at all, but in the meanwhile, Wayout SATAN is going to be present in these final fights as well, and the team they're taking on right now is going to be Harame, but they need to be careful from the backlines. DRS is closing in as well.
DRS is closing in. Unfortunately, got shot in the ghost there, but look at this now. Kuwait, a great shot. Kuwait actually was a great shot on the lads of DRS. One man has been taken down. AJ will be flushed out as well. Unfortunately, the kill will be confirmed because AJ is quite open. He's quite exposed. Now, DRS will need to find themselves a comfortable spot. They will need to move out from their initial spot, and this is what they're doing. Nima, we did see him kind of utilizing that US, and now he's probably on the prowl. He's probably on a run because he does realize if he doesn't move in as quick as possible, things will be looking still shaky for their squad, and this is what they need to do. On the other hand, Wayout played again on that receiving end, and King's going to be the one to put on a lot of pressure to steal a lot of fear in the lads of Wayout SATAN. Wayout SATAN do realize this game is quite important, but it's way much more important for the lads of Kings because they are still on the latter half of the board. They need to get themselves in the top 16, and this is what King is fighting here for. Wayout SATAN is in the top 8, so at least they're looking quite great. They do have a little bit of safety cushion going inside, and they can also get a rest back on the Shinks. That means they're still looking quite great.
Well, they are looking quite great. As you said, they might have lost a few individuals from the side, but the team is still holding quite strong in the back lines. And if they can survive this aggression for a little bit longer, as soon as the circle moves, maybe DRS will be able to come into the top 3 or the top 2 of this game. I mean, there's a knock, there's an opening. Kuwait has been taken down by the players of DRS, but will they be able to get a finish? That is going to be a big question. In the meanwhile, we do see Sinks sort of back off from that Tesla right there as it's going to be blown up and it will be used for cover. They do not have anything protecting them apart from that vehicle from the backlines, and Wayout SATAN sort of taking a little bit of pressure from the players of DRS as well, targeting 2 teams at the same time. It is going to be a tough fight for Nima and Mafia Ninja. but let's see if they will be able to convert it to their advantage, as Frankie is going to be taken out and finished off. Wayout SATAN down to 2 players as well. Polyhang and Shinx are the only 2-man surviving for the team. And
Exactly.
whoa, DRS.
Oh, big team getting eliminated. Unfortunately, as I did mention, they were in quite an uncomfortable spot. On the other hand, now Harame, 3 players alive, have got a great amount of cover, but they will need to leave. That means, again, they're going to be having a lot of pressure at the same time, a lot of fear right on their hands because Kings is right in front of them. Look at that. Nixon's position being compromised, taking a heavy amount of damage there. Nixon will have to fall back and get down, but it doesn't matter. Nixon still strikes in like Slithery Viper. Will take out one lad of Harame and will completely confirm that kill as well. On the other hand, in the back lines, they're trying to just jiggle peek around the corners. It's kind of peek-a-boo going on around the edges there, but still. Pretty much the top 3 teams alive is a trifecta of death. And we do know in these kind of moments, in these kind of stalemate situations, in these kind of just, stare down competitions, there are definitely going to be a lot of snakes unless there is a team who has the zone completely favored onto them. This is what Wayout SATAN is really doing, right? Look at Shinx. Now, he's still not unfortunately, as I was saying, unfortunately, the lad of Harame, he's going to be MR5, falls down, and Kings is going to be the one to actually strike onto them. This is where a massive advantage is given away to the lads of Wayout SATAN. They're only 2 men, but just because these lads are fighting against each other, that means King are still alive, and that means a little bit of damage is being instilled on the lad of King as well, because Demon YT is down.
Yeah, he was down for a few seconds, but now the revive has happened. The 4-man squad of KINGsNepal is still going to be surviving in this game. And if KINGsNepal do manage to secure this chicken dinner for themselves, it is going to mean massive, massive boost for the team in the overall standings. But look at this. Harame going for a risky play right there. One more lad is going to be finished off. Spirit is going to be the last player surviving for the team. And as you mentioned, the fact that Harame and KINGsNepal were fighting amongst each other, it does work out in the favor of Wayout SATAN. 2 players still surviving. Bullihang is going to be really low. Wade is going to smoke right in front of him. Get a little bit of moving space, and there it is. That is going to be the game, ladies and gentlemen. KINGsNepal, they just have to finish off this last individual. It's down to a 1v4, and they are just surrounding him from every single direction. This is going to be brutal to watch. There it is. Polyhang is going to be taken out, and Wayout SATAN walking. KINGsNepal walking away with the chicken dinner in this game. Although Wayout SATAN do have to give them props. They did really well, but KINGsNepal, they are going to be the victors. 15 kills. 30 points, and look at that from the 3rd page to the top 10.
I mean, as I did tell you, right? I mean, in the end of the day, we literally had a conversation over this, that teams like KINGsNepal, teams like XTREME are probably going to be the ones to actually watch out in the final days, without a doubt, because they're all the way in the 3rd place. And if they do want to make it inside, they will have to have banger games just like this back-to-back. But already, with a banger of a win, with 30 points collected in their pockets, they're already on the 10th position now. What do they have to worry, right? They've already surpassed the last DRS in general. But now this also puts us on a convo that what's going to be the kind of matter for the lads of CampToWin, right? I mean, we do have high expectations, but still they're not really able to deliver.
I agree with that. I mean, we do have a lot of high expectations from the lads, but failing to deliver is something that they can work on even right now, because they still have 9 more matches left for themselves, and that is a long journey. It's 9 matches. You can actually make a comeback in those 9 games if you somehow manage to get 7 to 8 points in every single game. Those 9 matches will definitely matter a lot. But as you mentioned, I mean, KINGsNepal, they have to be a little bit more consistent. I believe if they somehow manage to get themselves inside the top 8, that is the time that when I will start feeling a little bit more comfortable. Like, all right, KINGsNepal, now we'll see them in the finals. Right now, sitting in the top end and just barely entering the top 10, it might sort of put them in a tricky position, because if they, again, 9 matches is quite a lot. If they mess up those 9 games, probability of that happening, even though it is quite low, but that can happen. So if that actually does turn out to be true, then maybe KINGsNepal, they will be in a really bad position, and they can sort of be just on the verge of being eliminated. But the MVP of this game is going to be the man, myth, the legend from the RS. There's going to be Nima, 6 kills, 4 assists, and it is an incredible performance from him. Damage 927. Not just him, the entire squad of DRS was so impressive in this game. Those mid-game fights, incredible. Out in the open, do not need any pressure. Like no pressure felt by the lads. I mean, just charging in towards their opponent. We do know how they were sort of the reason to put a lot of pressure on the teams of KINGsNepal, on the players of Wayout SATAN as well from the backlines. I mean, Harame could have actually gone on to secure this win, but KINGsNepal just forced into that corner, which was the doing of DRS. Did actually work out for them, but it was a wonderful display of skill from the players of DRS. But then again, they are sticking to the same things that we have been talking about. Just too aggressive. I mean, just taking so many fights throughout the game, and it is incredible to watch, but also sort of heartbreaking, because I mean, we know all the fans of DRS want to see them get that chicken dinner. But one way or the other, at the end of the day, it is all about those points. And as long as you're getting those points, moving into the top spots, it's not going to matter if you have chicken dinners or not. If you can get those kills and secure the first place for yourself, that's all that's going to matter. And again, talking towards the match summary, we do see Nima in 3 instances: highest kills, longest distance kills, and highest damage as well, with Mafia Ninja getting the maximum assist. For Nima also had 4 assists, so I believe he is going to be able to match his teammate right there. But then we have Bolihang with the most utilities used, the last player surviving for Wayout SATAN, with 18 being the number.
Exactly, as you did mention, with 18 being the number, most utility used. I mean, I gotta say, we do get to see a lot of utilities used on the map of Miramar. It does make sense, a massive map without a doubt, so that's gonna be kind of a thing to eye out for. But yeah, on the fact, you can also take a look at Mafia Ninja with maximum assist 4. Again, even if DRS weren't really able to do that great, even if they were not really able to get a top 3, they still have made their mark. And this is what I really want to talk about this team, right? No matter what they do, they still have their mark and they still have their presence in the game. And look at that kill number, 14. Not a lot of placement points, only 8 placement points. So it's understandable, even if you're kind of relying heavily on that kill game. They still have managed to rack 22 points in general. I really want to see where DRS have moved themselves in the overall rankings. On the other hand, you have a team like Raw coming in, and then you have a team like Harame coming in as well. I mean, Harame did quite great. Even before, if I'm not wrong, Harame was quite looking great on the overall rankings. They were on the 7th position, if I'm not wrong. And now, with this kind of a score, they should at least give them a little bit of more lead over the lads of 8th position.
I agree. I mean, that should it should be able to give them sort of a little bit of an advantage, but let's see if they will be able to hold on to it for a while. But talking about the teams from 9 to 16, there are barely any points that were distributed between these teams. Just 3 kills on these 8 teams. That sort of shows how sort of brutal these early game fights were. And we do see one of the biggest names, in fact, 3 big names being present in this situation: Skylightz Gaming, Team High Voltage, and Team T2K, along with the players of PWP Esports as well. So 4 big names getting taken out early. But then again, one of the biggest surprise was the fight with Skylightz Gaming. Like, why would you like to engage like that against the players of Let's Go? Should have disengaged, try to move, try to fall back, and then sort of readjust towards late game stages. But just Chari being taken out, sort of being the catalyst to force the team to take that fight, was a good decision.
Exactly, it was a good decision without a doubt. And well, I mean, in the end of the day, I mean, Skylightz Gaming got eliminated in the first place. I mean, that was a little disappointment, but hey, it's fine. You know, we do know they have it in them. They don't really need to prove any kind of things because they've already done it in the past so many times. This was a great kind of flank coming out from Aayo. I really liked how he executed that fight, so gotta give props to him. But on the other hand, I did not expect, like, PMPL Esports to just single-handedly completely mow down the spot of Skylightz Gaming. But hey, they did. This also makes a massive statement in the Nepal region, is that, I mean, there are teams who are really better when it comes to that initial gun power. But hey, when it comes to that strategical approach to the game, I feel like Skylightz Gaming are just way ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Skylightz Gaming, they are ahead in that statistical approach, tactical approach to the game with how they take the team fight. You have to realize, like, in order to make a comeback from a team fight that you are sitting at the disadvantage, you have to try and get a little bit of a breathing space for yourselves. And with, as you mentioned, I mean, the main man for the side being taken out early, it was a bit of a challenge right there. But look at this, the final fights, Shawl just taking a massive nade to the face from the players of DRS, and a wonderful elimination. But this rotation was the thing that sort of put them in a really bad position. AJ getting taken out, Gyalzin getting taken out as well. Not really much to do from there on out. Mafia Ninja and Nima could have tried the level best to make a comeback, but the distance between them and the circle was also a thing that was putting a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, exactly. As you did mention, the circle also plays a massive part in the game. But just because of that one single game, look at what happened. XTREME lost their leads, then lost their throne they had, and they've already moved down all the way to third position. And that is a little unfortunate, but it's fine. I'm pretty sure in the upcoming games, in the upcoming groups, XTREME is probably going to be striking in again and probably make their mark back up on the top place. This is where Raw needs to set up a little bit of target for the lads of XTREME. They need to set up a little bit of chase for the lads of XTREME. If XTREME, I mean, if Raw isn't really able to have the games of their life, then XTREME won't really have a lot of competition, right? If they will just straight up go inside, they will just straight up go into the games and try and dominate, eat the entire kind of playing field here. Wayout SATAN now, again, a great game from their side. That's why they're going to be moving up all the way to 5th position. That means the pressure is on the lads of T2K, High Voltage, and PWP.
I mean, definitely, there's going to be a lot of pressure on these lads, but let's see. I mean, they're still in a really good position. I mean, sitting inside of the top 8, so the possibility of them getting taken out of the slots of the finals is going to be really, really less. But look at this, DRS and KINGsNepal sitting on the 9th and the 8th position, and with a decent number of points as well. But still, as I said, need to be a little bit more consistent in order to secure the position for the finals, because the teams below them will definitely try and climb back once they start stepping back into the action, once these teams start playing their games again. So it is going to be a really a big question to see how, in fact, these teams will move inside the top 8. But I want to see the last page of the standings. What is going on over there? The 17 to 24 sort of listing of the teams, still sitting on the last position, 24th. Okay, Shata on the 22nd. We have seen teams sort of bounce back from these positions as well, but it is going to be really high pressure scenario. Look at that. As I said, Team Destiny, the fall down is real, moving out of the top 16 and now sitting on the 18th position.
As you did mention, I don't really know what to say about, I mean, teams like Ace. They haven't really had a great kind of history in the past, the group stages as well. So I'm not really going to be ruling out for the lads of Ace, but I do have my eyes out on the lads of Aayo Gaming. And you have the lads of Shata. BADCOPS, without a doubt, has to be one of the best teams out there. I don't really know why are they so suppressed in the entire semifinals. Maybe they just need a little bit of more time. Maybe they just need a little bit of more, that kind of a comfort level. They just need to develop it inside the game. But they also need to realize sometimes you got to step out of your comfort zone to actually make your mark.
I agree. I mean, sometimes you will need to step out of your comfort zone, as you said, in order to make your mark. And in a scenario like this, based on how the teams have been playing, there's only one answer to do that. Just go all in into those team fights. Don't be scared to peek out from a corner. And we did see, in fact, a little bit of a glimpse of that happening from the side of CampToWin. But Ace, that team needs to work on its late mid-game rotations. They were always getting caught off guard, just rotating out in the open, getting sandwiched. Need to have a scout, need to have someone sort of make sure that the position you are heading towards is going to be clear. But let's see if that is going to happen in the next game, because that is the most critical thing in a match on Miramar. And that is going to be the next game, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be no break. We're just going to jump right into the action of Miramar in a few seconds. And before we do that, I mean, I want to know from you, Necro, do you think there's going to be possibility, I mean, even the slightest possibility of Ace actually making it to the finals from where they are right now?
I mean, I feel like we were having a convo about this, right? And I gotta say, I mean, look, I'm not really gonna rule out for them. I'm not really gonna be one of those who would put my money on the line for the lads of Ace. But again, look, there is always a possibility. There's always a chance. But it just really comes down to the individual kind of realization, individual mindset, what kind of mindset Ace has in the game. If they've already given up, then I do not expect them. But if Ace still has a little bit of hope inside them, if they still do want to make their mark on the leaderboards, then it does make sense that Ace might just be able to bounce back. But on the other hand, you do also have a massive competition. Teams like Team XTREME, teams like DRS in the back lines as well, then you have Elementrix chiming in, you have PM Crew. So many massive teams are in the backlines, including BADCOPS. Now, the main question really rules out here, Johnny, that I'm going to be asking you, is Ace going to be able to surpass those?
I mean, that is going to be a really tough position, as you said. I mean, it's not going to be easy for them, because as we did talk about, I mean, there are a lot of teams in the backlines, and I mean, Ace, they sit at a difference between them and the team right above them. So 24th and 23rd, even there's a massive difference where Ace is, and it's not. It looks like even that is taking them a while to cover up. If they can move up to at least the 20th position, maybe then there might be a possibility. But they have to do it within this game itself, and this might just be the thing that works out for the team, since we do have a central circle right now. And Ace, we know they do like to go towards the side of Porto Parasio, have a slow early start to the game. Most of the teams will already be in the center, and Ace just continue to play edge to edge, or the edge
Oh my
gameplay
god.
that we do like to see. They might just be able to make it to the late game stages, but they have to make sure they're always controlling that high ground for themselves. In the early game, we do see shots being fired from the players of KINGsNepal on towards the lads from CampToWin, but they will manage to get away.
Now, we have found ourselves a sheep in the pack of hyenas here, and it's going to be the lad of CampToWin. So that's a little bit problematic situation already occurring for these lads. So now they need to find out a way how to get that sheep back in her real house she deserves to be in. And how are they going to be doing it? Only they know it, because I have no clue. Because this is going to be one of the most toughest things, right? KINGsNepal probably have seen someone dropping into motel there, so they're probably going to be having their eyes out over there. But on the other hand, in the Hacienda del Patron, in the house of the boss, we already do see a lot of fights happening for just to get that golden Mirado, just to get your hands onto that.
I mean, I believe it's just going to be to, as you said, get the vehicle, get control of the area. But the fight did backfire, in fact, a little bit against the players of Team T2K, as we did see blah 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 and Rated. In fact, Rated was knocked out. He has been revived, and blah 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 was dropped out really low. These players are going to be required to find healing as fast as possible, like get those bandages, or if you can get a first aid, that's going to be even better. But they need to heal up as fast as possible, as soon as possible, and then try and see if there is going to be a possibility for a re-engagement from the players of OK Shata, but we do see them back off. So the position of this graveyard is completely given away to the players. And as we did talk about the players on towards the side of Hacienda del Patron, let's see where the rotations are going to happen, because that is also going to be a position that will be sort of constricted, because you will be challenged quite a lot if you stick around for a long time.
Yeah, as you did mention, I mean, you will pretty much be challenged without a doubt. So for now, KINGsNepal are the kings of the Picado. And yeah, I mean, in general, if you do have the centralized location already for yourself, that means in the future lines, you don't really need to worry a lot about how things are going to be looking in, right? And well, on the other hand, you also do have Skylightz Gaming coming in. Heaven is going to be the lad who is a little bit separated out, but again, he's kind of a man who likes to have himself an individual kind of a nature, right? He's one of those independent men, you know. He likes to stay all by himself. He likes to loot all by himself. He likes to get all the loot for himself, which is understandable, you know. Heaven, I feel like he's kind of a man who plays a support role in the team of Skylightz Gaming, which is understandable. You got to have those utilities. You got to have those meds for your team as well to support them in the end kind of a moment.
Well, let's see. As you said, I mean, there will be support required in the end moments, but it is not going to be an easy thing for them. And moving over to the other side, I mean, it is going to be about those late game fights in this map. So you do not want to. You do not want to lose out on your individuals in the early game stages. That's going to mean there's going to be a lot of pressure on you when you actually make it to the late game fights. And it is going to be quite interesting to see how the teams actually manage to do that. Miramar, it is notorious for being really, really slow during these early game stages, and that is exactly what we're witnessing right now. As 5 minutes in, there were just shots fired from a few of the individuals. I mean, T2K taking a little bit of damage, catching no one off guard from the side of CampToWin, and that was the only thing that happened. Now everyone is going to be inside that their cover, inside the positions that they wanted, and they're going to try and heal up.
They're definitely going to be trying and heal up. That's what they're probably doing. On the other hand, high voltage now. They have the entire area of Chumasira for themselves. That is quite great. Now look at the position that JyanMaara have. Look at Shah. He does have a massive high ground. That means he's going to be one of those eagles who is going to be sitting on the top. He's going to be one of those assassins who's going to be sitting on the top, scouting the area out, making sure all the four angles are clear, all the four sides are clear. This is what he's probably trying to do here. On the other hand, this is the beauty of the map of Miramar, right? If teams are the king of the hill in the early game stages, that means there's a massive chance if the circle shifts out of them, they will probably have the king. They'll probably have the throne for themselves in the map of Miramar. If the circle takes a hard shift, that means when you're probably trying to go down below, when you're trying to make it away from that hill, you are going to be exposed quite a lot. So there's kind of a pros and cons for both these sides.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, pros and cons are always going to be there to be in a certain position, but you have to realize what those exactly are. I mean, if you are trying to hold a high ground, you are going to try and take off players in the distance, and that is going to be the easiest things for you to do. If someone, especially on Miramar, because just because of how steep the cliffs are, it becomes sort of a bit of a challenge for you to actually take down players that are right underneath the hill that you're trying to control, and that is not going to be easy because you're going to try to get quite close to the edge of the hill, quite close to the cliff, and then try and use either utility or try and see if you can shoot the opponents down. And in doing so, you actually overexpose yourself to the other lads that might be either rotating from ridges or in the open areas, and they are going to be the ones that take you out. So
Yeah.
again, the trade-off is always going to be there, and using the advantage that a certain position hands out to you is going to be super critical to make it work for almost every single one of these teams. But right now, I have to say the best position, if the team can actually use it in this early game, is going to be towards the squad of Let's Go. Towards the northwestern side of the map, they have absolutely no one that they have to deal with. I believe that's going to be 500 to a 600-meter radius for them, where there is no squad present.
But again, the problematic situation here really arises that if you're not really going to be moving in the center of the circle, the problem here is that maybe if the circle takes a hard shift away from you, you will have to rotate all the way inside. That means those late game rotations, we do know how detrimental they can be sometimes, there's a massive chance you might just get caught off guard while you're making that rotation happen. And we have seen in the past as well a lot of teams facing those consequences. So maybe you just want to be on that safer side and try and make it in the center as quick as possible. But I feel like one of the best position the team really has here, without a doubt, is going to be JyanMaara. They have a higher ground for themselves. They probably do have a lot of vision, and they can scout out all the teams that are trying to make it in the close lines. For example, King as well do have quite a decent positioning. DRS and Raw, there's a massive chance that we might just see a clash happening.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, there might just be a clash happening in this mid-game stage. But talk about clashes, I mean, Ace, they are going to be clashing with the Blue Zone 4 now, as they finally have started to move out of the city of Puerto Parastia, and this shift of the circle is going to be super important. And we're going to have a central shift happening once again. So I believe somewhere during the late game stages, we might see a massive fight break out in towards the city of Picado, and maybe the side as well. I mean, that is going to be the position that the squad of Let's Go will try and control for themselves. But let's see, already a fight is breaking out, and it is the players of T2K against the squad of Harame. Shots have been fired, but we still have yet to see a knock coming in for either of these sides.
So it did mention shots have been fired, but still nothing really critical damage happening. Nothing really critical damage being instilled onto each other. So they're looking quite great for now. PWP as well in the close lines. It's a trifecta of death kind of in the graveyard area. I don't really like where this is going because if they do decide to kind of fight against each other, Harame is going to be the one to actually face the sharp side of the situation because they are in the sandwich. They are in the center. And you have TDK on the top and then you have PWP on the other side. So things are not really looking great for Harame. They need to move out of the situation as soon as possible. And this is what they're doing. Look at that. Getting inside their vehicles is what they're trying to do here. But unfortunately, there's a lot of shots being instilled onto them. They're getting right down death and destruction, and they will have to find a way around it.
Well, definitely, as you said, death and destruction was being rained down upon the lads, but we're going to find out exactly what's going to happen. And it's going to be quite interesting to see who actually does manage to come out on top during that sort of early mid game sort of situation that we have in front of us. In the meanwhile, I mean, the players from the side of DRS, they need to be careful as well. Out in the open, they're trying to see if they can clear out the cover positions and take control of those positions for themselves. And this is exactly what the squad of Ace actually needs to do. This is how rotations are supposed to be done. You clear out a position, make sure the compounds are completely empty, and then hide inside that cover. The big flaw from the side of Ace is just running out towards those covers without even realizing whether there are going to be squads present on the flank or inside the cover or on the other side as well, because you can get taken out from the windows as well. This time,
Yeah.
though, they are moving towards the side of La Benedita, and since the position is completely empty, they will be safe for the next few minutes.
As he did mention, they will be safe for the next few minutes, though. But again, we have added word here, minute. You got to realize they're not going to be safe for a really long time, but only a few minutes. But on the other hand, in Pagado, already a lot of fights happening. King's going to be the one to actually be facing. Wow. I mean, Kings were the Kings of the Picado, but now it seems like they're slowly and steadily getting banished. They're slowly and steadily getting kicked out of Picado. This is a little bit of problematic. This is a little bit of problematic situation going on. But look at this though. Now Kings, High Voltage is dancing on top of Kings. This is a little bit of problematic situation. Look at this. They're being surrounded from all the different angles. One of the High Voltage lad is all the way above, but a big man falls down. Assassin, and this is not really going to be good. High Voltage needs to make sure they're getting the rest back onto him as quick as possible, but the kill will be confirmed by Demon. That's a great nade to confirm the kill as well, and look at that now. Like out of nowhere, the tables have been flipped. High Voltage is on that receiving end, but now also do Kings know there's one more lad right above them. They probably do have an idea. Look at this cheeky angle being created by Nixon. This nade might just be so detrimental. Oh my god, Extreme, you need to watch out. It's being cooked for perfection, but a little bit too far away. That means Extreme will get another saving grace for his life.
Well, he's going to be safe for a little while, but as you mentioned, the tables have been turned by the players of KINGsNepal, and they just might be able to find an opening. Another one, in fact, another nade being cooked by Kuwait. They have lost on one of the individuals, so it's going to be quite important for them to be able to find that opening. But the players of High Voltage, they are going to be inside that cover, and Kuwait needs to realize that there's no one outside that house. They're sitting on the first floor right now. Aussie is going to be revived back on his feet again, but he needs to heal up. Havoc is going to be there, but Extreme just hiding in the balcony. Nixon trying to find an opening. Oh
no.
Nixon, he's going to fall down. He's going to take a little bit of damage, dropping down to around 50% HP. Just a misstep, his feet slipping on the ledge, and well, that allows his opponent to stay alive for a little bit longer.
That was a little funny moment, gotta say that. I mean, he was trying to create himself an angle and partially slipped down. Oh boy, that's a little unfortunate there, gotta say that. But Extreme still holding on to the edge. He's still holding on strong and brave. And how are they going to be flushing him out of that position? But High Voltage, as I did mention, one lad has been completely taken out. That means it's a fair and square competition going in. Look at the smoke being lobbed to at least find themselves an entry. But guess what? The man just jumps down, and Extremes will be knocked out because of that jump, because that falls damage. And oh no, how are they going to be able to get the rest back onto them? But oh, okay, there we do have Skylightz Gaming chiming inside the fight. This is where a little bit of help is being provided to the lads of High Voltage, even if they don't really realize it. Now, High Voltage will need to get the rest back onto Extreme. If Skylightz Gaming is continuously firing on all cylinders against lads of King, I feel like it shouldn't really be that tough of a task to actually get the rest back onto him.
Well, let's see. I mean, if it is going to be possible, Aussie is going to be under a lot of pressure as Assassin has been finished off. Extreme is knocked out in the open as well. Extreme is definitely going to be finished off.
Oh,
but
no.
from the backlines, we do see a third party coming in, and it's players of Skylightz Gaming chiming in. Aussie is going to be taken down. Extreme, we're going to see the lad get finished off in just a few more seconds. There it is. There's the kill being secured by Nixon from the side of KINGsNepal, but they worried about the players of Skylightz Gaming in the backlines now, and that is going to mean a little bit of distraction. Joker is going to get caught up. It's going to take one shot to the body, but apart from that, nothing to be worried about. Chari, look at him. He's overextending again. He's quite close to the players of High Voltage.
I mean, hey, as long as you do have the confidence going in, I mean, it does make sense, bro. I mean, Chari is the man who kind of holds the torch in the hand, and his team kind of follows behind him. He's the one who leads the charge here, so it's pretty much understandable if Chari is playing that aggressive angle. It's a 3-to-1 split coming in here, but as you did mention, he's a little bit too close. He's overextending himself. He's overstepping his boundaries, which might just pan out a little bad, but we still don't really know what Chari has in the game plan here. Maybe he's just going to be staying safe behind the vehicle, making sure his position is not really being compromised. As soon as he sees someone of the lads of High Voltage overextending themselves, as soon as they step out of the cover, I feel like this is where Chari will probably be striking in, and this is what is exactly happening. Look at that. This is the blue zone. High Voltage don't really have any other choice rather than step out, but Chari missed his opportunity.
Well, as you said, I mean, Chari is going to miss an opportunity right there, but the players from High Voltage, they know they are sandwiched. It's a 3 versus 2 situation against the players of KINGsNepal, and a 4 versus 2 against the players of Skylightz Gaming. Both the teams are going to try and close in on this position, try and take High Voltage out first, and then be a part of the action. Look at Chari, he's waiting for Aussie to close in. As soon as Aussie gets close, the AK shots are going to be the thing that take him down, and Aussie is going to be instantly finished off. Now Havoc is going to be the last player surviving for his team, but KINGsNepal, what are they doing? Nixon in the back lines trying to see if he can infiltrate players of Skylightz Gaming, and he's going to be quite close to Joker right there, but Chari, he is falling back. They want to make sure that they punish the players of KINGsNepal for this rotation as well, and it's not going to be quite easy for them. In the meanwhile, JyanMaara taking on the players of Let's Go, and they do manage to find a knock on towards Ale, but Raw Official, they're going to be part of the fight as well as moving in from the back lines. They're going to find another opening. And Let's Go, they are not going to survive for long. The squad has been completely sandwiched. But over on the other side, KINGsNepal finding the players of Skylightz Gaming 2 knocks for themselves. Wayout SATAN as well. Leon is going to be taken down. Joker is still alive and fighting, and he's going to find Demon from the side of KINGsNepal.
As we did mention, he's going to be finding Demon from the side of KINGsNepal. Now, Raw season as well, kind of taking a lot of shots onto his enemy lines. This is where Raw now do need to realize they're on the edge of the circle. They're not really inside. They do also have a decent amount of pressure onto them. They're getting flanked from the back lines. Unfortunately, Let's Go Official is going to be the squad to actually dish quite a lot of damage onto them. And look at this now, Raw. They do seem quite distracted by that one single man. It's going to be OG Lord. Finally decides to back off. He decides not to really challenge a fight against them because he knows he's the only man in the clotheslines. But look at that. He's on the receiving end now. He's taking a lot of damage. He's taking a lot of shots, actually. Not really a lot of damage because it's still onto him. So he's looking quite great, at least up till now. This is what Raw do realize, okay, maybe we're finally a little late. Little too late to actually get inside the circle. But hey, as long as they do make safe and sound, that's all that really matters, doesn't it?
Well, let's see. I mean, it is going to matter, but let's see. I mean, how the team is going to make sure that the late game rotations do work out for them. In the meanwhile, Harame going up against the squad of Ace, and the Peish is going to be the man falling down from the squad. But it is going to be a tough situation for the lads as well. In the meanwhile, Let's Go OG Lord taking a lot of damage from the blue zone. I believe he needs to have enough first aids to sustain for a while, for at least 3 to 4 minutes. With the drop shot from Gut, and DRS Mafia Ninja is going to be taken down in an instant after having a really good game. DRS, they are getting destroyed in this map of Miramar. AJ, I believe, is going to be the last player. All right, 2 players surviving from the side of DRS, Nima and AJ. They're going to try and see if they can hold on to the situation against the fight of JyanMaara, and JyanMaara are going to be in a high pressure situation as well, as they have to worry about the players of Raw Official in the backlines as well. So it's not going to be easy for them to actually force anything in this situation. Shah, he might just be able to make an attempt on a little bit of an aggressive push towards these lads, but he needs his players, Genghis Khan and Samir, to come in from the backlines as well. AJ and Nima completely pinned out. Blue zone moving in. Genghis Khan going for the charge. AK in his hands. Needs to be extremely careful. Goes for the first drop shot, but is going to get distracted for a few seconds. Takes down one, and his teammates from the backline do find the other one. And DRS, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the first team to get eliminated in this game with 0 kills. Raw Official, they're going to make sure that JyanMaara are going to suffer the same fate, although the kills have been secured by the players of JyanMaara. They're going to be finished off, as there is absolutely no possibility of them making it inside the circle. Raw Official doing a wonderful job gatekeeping a really big name.
As you did mention, they're doing quite a great job, but again, gotta say that AK is just so good in those close ranges. It does make sense. A lot of people are yielding it nowadays. But yeah, I mean, finally, the AK always comes out on top, no matter what else or other gun you're using. Look at that. That was a massive lead being taken by Samir. Thank God he's at least safe and sound for now. At least he's looking great. Look at Frack Boy. He does spot someone right on the hilltop. He takes a little bit of shots here and there. At least to kind of put in a pressure, at least kind of instill the fear that, hey, I am here sitting. Do not try and peek me. If you do, your head might be cut off from the body. But hey, you really do have Wayout SATAN. Now, do they know that they really are getting compromised from the back lines? It's going to be the lads of Raw Officials who are slowly, steadily sneaking up onto them. Look at this, JyanMaara. Desperate kind of moves being made, but still, it seems like they do have a game plan secured in the backpack, but they also do have a lot of teams in the front line, so that's going to be kind of bringing in that confusing factor inside the game. Chari did cross the flat now to the front lines, but now they are looking quite great. And look at this, Skylightz Gaming, Chari can also then do the same thing goes with JyanMaara. JyanMaara is going to be the one to eliminate flats of OK Chata. Unfortunately, they're not really going to be in the game anymore. And on the other hand, now, all these big teams, take a look at that. It seems like it's just a ring of fire here. All the teams are surrounded on the kind of edge lines of the circle. They're kind of guarding, they're being the guardian angels on the circle, on the zone. But over here, the main problem why they're not really moving inside the center is that it's so exposed. If they try to move inside, they're probably going to be taking a lot of damage from the back lines.
Well, let's see. I mean, from the backlines, there's definitely going to be a lot of pressure. Samir, he's still closing in, and I did not expect JyanMaara to actually make it this far. Expected them to get taken out by the players of Raw Official, but they are doing a wonderful job fighting back. And Raw Official, they have been cut down to just 2 players. But JyanMaara, look, they have spotted out Fragboy in the backlines as well, and they actually do end up eliminating the entire team of Raw Official. Incredible performance from the lads of JyanMaara. It looks like the team is back to the winning ways, back to the day one performance, doing a really good job moving inside the circle down to 10 teams. Skylightz Gaming as well, 5 kills have been secured. Shari is still surviving, and they have spotted out the players of Wayout SATAN, have putting up a lot of pressure on these 2 players, Frankie and Bolihang, although they have some cover available to them, so they just might be able to bait the players gaming into being a little too over aggressive and try and finish them off once they get close enough. But frankly, this could be a really bad move. Gets out from behind the cover. He's going to be able to find the first knock, but he's going to have to go behind the car again. Bolihang from the other side is going to find the last player, Joker. And Skylightz Gaming, they do get eliminated, but they have 5 kills from this match, so I believe still a pretty decent position by the team to take an exit on.
Exactly. Eliminated. They have been eliminated, but hey, the main thing kind of remains here. Has their morale been eliminated? Has their morale been taken out from the roots? I'm pretty sure that's not really going to be happening that easily, especially in an NC. Skylightz Gaming is a team that do realize their worth. And even if they do go down here and there, I'm pretty sure none of the audiences, none of the viewers are probably going to be questioning them. But look at this PMP. I mean, you have a clear shot on Dane, but unfortunately, he's not really taking the shot. Maybe there is a smoke in the close lines that we're not really able to see it. But on the other hand, you also do see some kills happening on the 8th position. It's going to be TDK getting eliminated. Unfortunately, big names have already fallen off. Take a look at that. Skylightz Gaming, TDK, Raw, DRS. Teams like those have already been fallen off. Unfortunately, I mean, it is kind of shame to see a team like DRS getting eliminated in the first place. But hey, again, we do know they're just trying to play here for the fun, because up till now, they have been relying heavily on those kill points. But unfortunately, they haven't really gotten any points in their hands up till now. But look at this. CampToWin on that receiving end now. It's where one lad has been taken out. Probably the res is going to be quite one of the most toughest things to happen there. So it is probably going to be gone case. A lot of sounds, a lot of footsteps, a lot of vehicles kind of being heard, a lot of shots, a lot of mag being unloaded. But I really do want to see, is there any critical moments? Are there any critical situations occurring?
Well, let's see. As you said, are there any critical situations occurring for the team? But on the other side, Harame, we do see him moving forward towards the players of CampToWin.
Oh my god.
CampToWin, they are going to get finished off. Ace is also going to take an exit down to 5 teams, just 11 players surviving inside of this match. And JyanMaara is still there with 3 of their players. Samir has been knocked down. Gunner takes a lot of damage. His armor is gone already. Samir is getting a revive right now, but Gunner needs to be careful. Heal up! Heal! And then take the fight.
Oh,
He's
no.
so focused on finishing off
Oh
MR
my
Play
god.
there. Finally takes out the first stage though.
Oh my god, Gunner's confidence is just on another level. Look at that now. He does know Spirit is right behind that vehicle. Oh no, he's probably going to be going for that finish. Yes, he does. Spirit, I mean, the one last man alive from Harame, and this time he's not really going to be spared. Gunner, we do know this man is evil, and he's not just going to let anyone go like that. He's merciless, and Gunner probably not going to be having any mercy on him. But unfortunately, the kill got stolen away by the lads of Wayout SATAN, but this is where they're also on the receiving end. They will have to pay the price for that. They were like, why did you steal the kill away? This is where Wayout SATAN, one lad has been taken out. This is where everything is left out on the lads of Frankie. Or actually, Bolihang is the one who's standing strong, who's looking good, at least for now, up till in the game. But look at the separation coming out from the last JyanMaara. They have the most amount of map control inside the game because they're only top 3 teams alive. And look at that, 3-1 split coming in. It's such kind of a crucial moment in the game. And this just shows how much confidence JyanMaara have in general, how much confidence they have came here with the mentality to win, and they're probably going to be executing it.
Well, as you said, they did come in with a mentality to win, and that is the thing that has kept this squad going so far inside this game. They do not want to lose out in this game. 14 kills secured by this team. CampToWin doing a wonderful job, being really consistent today. 2 matches back to back inside of the top 3. CampToWin is definitely making a really good comeback, but just have 2 players surviving, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge for them to actually be able to secure this chicken dinner. I believe this is going to be a game for JyanMaara, but just as I say that, Sujin is going to find Gunner, and a wonderful knock, a wonderful opening by Sujin for his team. But let's see, Gunner does not get finished off. There's going to be a trade coming in from Samir, takes down Sujin. Instead, there's going to be revive coming in on towards Gunner. Samir is going to move in. Shah is the man going for the revive. In the meanwhile, on the backlines, CampToWin, they are providing revive to the teammates as well. Frankie, I believe, has been spotted out by Samir, and it is going to get really, really tricky for the players of JyanMaara to actually find a way to finish off these lads from the side of CampToWin and then take control of the circle as well. Samir needs to be careful, because if he overextends a little bit too much, Wayout SATAN will be the ones causing a lot of trouble for them.
I feel like this is it for Frankie pretty much, because he doesn't really have the circle backing him up as well. He needs to make it inside. That means he will have to expose his body in that way, in that process. When it's really happening, I feel like this is where JyanMaara is probably going to be the one to strike in. But look at that, Susan now trying to fight back, but he's quite down low. His teammate is, it's the same thing with xACEx as well. I don't really feel like this is it, where they're probably going to be getting it back in. I feel like this is it going to be for CampToWin. xACEx will pretty much easily be gone rid of. Yes, he has been. Frankie's position, they know it since the start. He's trying to do that heal game here. But hey, how much heals does he actually have? I feel like this is going to be it pretty much. He's just given his last try. If those first days being spammed right onto his body, I do really want to see how is he going to be able to, you know, kind of turn the tables in his favor. Unfortunately, that headshot is going to be the one to seal the deal. And hey, JyanMaara coming out on top. That's a great way to close the game.
I mean, definitely, it is a great way to close the game, and it is a wonderful, wonderful performance coming in from JyanMaara once again. Look at that, 16 kills being secured, 31 points for the squad. Amazing, amazing job being done by this team. It is quite incredible to see how they have been performing, and they take the throne back. The position that they left, the position from where they were taken out, the first position is going to be theirs again.
They did mention the first position is going to be there again. Now, they had quite a lot of kills. Take a look at that, 16 kills. That means 31 points. I mean, that's a massive leap being taken by these lads. And I'm pretty sure we might just see them under contestation for the top 5 without a doubt, because they have to be one of the best teams out there, right? Since the NC, JyanMaara has been stepping up quite a lot. A lot of the teams that we did not really expect, they're showing they're playing on the mark, they're firing on all cylinders. But yeah, in the end, I feel like, you know, in the starting kind of times, we don't really see a lot of fights happening. In the end times is where we do see a lot of fights happening. This also brings a massive RNG factor, which I feel like might just be a little problematic. But hey, teams like JyanMaara and team like Skylightz Gaming and DRS, they just try to rack up those kills since the start. So that at least is kind of like a thing that just puts on a little bit of smile on their faces.
I mean, definitely, it does put a smile on our faces. But look at this, the MVP of this game is going to be Gunner from the side of JyanMaara with 8 kills for himself and 4 assists as well, contributing 12 kills to the team. Got quite an impressive performance by him. 810 damage being dished out, healing down 451, and the 25-minute survival time. JyanMaara, they popped off really, really hard in this game, and it was incredible to see sort of the team regain the performance that they had.
As it did mention, JyanMaara popped up quite a lot, and as it did mention as well, kind of regained the position they had, regained the performance they had, regained the mental stability that they had in the past, and finally, hey, in the semifinal as well, JyanMaara stepping up, coming in huge in that previous game, getting that 8 kills for himself. Gunner, I mean, this is what Gunner has been really known for, right? Somewhere down line, sometimes he does seem kind of suppressed, but hey, you're coming out on top in such kind of a massive game with those 8 kills and massive amount of damage number as well. I feel like Gunner just like deserves all sorts of respect in that kind of a moment. But on the other hand, Wayout SATAN, each and every single lad, they just do seem so consistent. Wayout SATAN has to be one of the most consistent teams in the entire semifinals.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, they have, I mean, the first few days of the semifinals didn't really go their way, but from the out Wayout SATAN, as you said, they have built up that consistency, and it is, I believe, the veteran player of the team, Bolihang, who is doing an incredible job of making sure that the team actually does sort of bring out those consistent performances. We have seen this man in the past. He is an incredible player. The game sense that he has is on a whole another level, and that is the thing that Wayout SATAN do like to play around with. The rotations are on point, do lack a little bit in those close range, like those high intense, high octane gunfights, but they make up for that during those late game stages. And Frankie as well has been quite incredible with how sort of supportive he has been in making sure that his team is always going to be really, really sort of turning out those difficult fights into a much easier scenario to deal with. But in the match summary, just like in the first game we had with Nima, this time it is going to be Gunner with highest kills, highest damage, and longest distance kill. which
Oh man.
246 meters on Miramar is not that much.
Yeah, I mean, on the map of Miramar, without a doubt, it's not really that much. And actually, we had a conversation about this in the group stage as well, right? Because Sanhok has been the map where we have seen so many high. I mean, longest distance kill that has been like 300 meters, and that's probably the maximum you can go for. But yeah, I mean, Gunner as well. I mean, getting himself that highest kill, 8 kills. Then you have Gunner again coming in with the highest damage, 810. But Frankie kind of stealing it away with that most utility used. But this time, a little bit surprised. On the map of Miramar, we haven't really seen a lot of utilities being used, only 15 utilities being used, even though the circle was made out in the open. It just seemed like in the end, a lot of teams were funneling inside the circle in one direction, and that's why the teams that were already inside, all they had to do is just hold their positions down.
Well, as you said, all they have to do is hold their positions down, and they did that quite nicely. But looking at the standings, this is now really nice to look at. Ace, they are finally starting to get those, as I said, 7 to 8 points in every single game. This match, they walk away with 8 points, 4 placement, and 4 kills secured by the team. BADCOPS as well, 9 points for the team. CampToWin, 12 points, and a consistent performance from CampToWin. I believe after this game, we're going to see CampToWin sort of move into a really, really decent position from where I believe there's going to be a possibility for the team to actually move into the finals. But let's see if that is going to happen. Wayout SATAN, 18 points. This team is just going to climb into the top 5.
As you did mention, I mean, well, 18 points, Wayout SATAN. Without a doubt, I mean, they were on those overall rankings on the first stage, but this kind of a good, kind of consistent performance in the game. This will help them boost their ego up. This will help them boost their kind of confidence up in the game, and at the same time, they're ranking up on the overall rankings. On the other hand, teams like Skylightz Gaming, Raw, Official, Kings. I mean, the Kings had quite a great game in the future times. In the past, they had a chicken dinner with a banger of a start. So these are looking quite great. But again, if you're just one of those teams who kind of win those big games on the flukes, and then later on you just shut down completely, that's not going to be helping you in the lines.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, that is not going to be helping you in the future. Have to be extremely careful. But talk about upsets again. I mean, Skylightz Gaming getting taken out early. DRS was the biggest one. But this fight, I mean, high voltage, there was absolutely no reason for Aussie to go on a charge towards Chari. Like this is the killer that I was talking about. No reason to do that, and that is the thing that sort of resulted in high voltage getting taken out early in this match.
I don't even think that he had any clue that Chari was just sitting behind that little car, because if you did see, he didn't move into the end. His position was uncompromised. His position was that he still did have that anonymous factor going inside. But yeah, in the end, this is how Skylightz Gaming did get eliminated. As I did mention, all they had to do was just hold their positions down. And this is what Wayout SATAN and the other lads did perfectly. At Skylightz Gaming, there was just no way inside. I mean, they had to move out in the open. They were already taking a lot of damage from all the different angles. And then Wayout SATAN were the one who they had to face against. They were like the final boss there. We weren't really able to survive that. So Wayout SATAN, of course, came out on top. This is where we did see that merciless winner chime in. And in the end, I mean, CampToWin did try their best to fight back, but unfortunately, xACEx was already down low, so I did not expect a lot personally from his side.
I agree. I mean, we did not expect a lot to actually come into that final fight, but still an overall decent performance. And let's have a look at the overall standings. Look at this, Wayout SATAN sitting on 3rd position right now. Although, I mean, we do have to sort of keep in account that EKTA Esports and Vibes are not playing the matches today. So once these two teams come back tomorrow, then things might look a lot more interesting in terms of exactly how far up will Wayout SATAN be exactly. But JyanMaara, now there is a difference between them and Raw Official. An 18-point difference between these two squads is going to result in JyanMaara having a really, really nice safety cushion for themselves. On the other side, the high voltage, there is a bit of a drop again due to the fact that the performances in the matches that they have played so far, they have been really, really tricky, sitting on the 8th position right now. It's 98 points for the team.
As you did mention, things have been a little tricky there. Ups and downs always happen. They're sitting on those many points, but yeah, taking the top 6 pretty much do seem quite stacked. Teams are looking great, but still, the teams that we expect to be on the first base, they're on the latter half, which is going to be Team XTREME, Elementrix coming in. Then we do have big teams like Skylightz Gaming, DRS, Harame, Trikru. I mean, they're still on the back lines. But hey, one good part over here is going to be that CampToWin finally has shown or made their mark in the top.
Well, as you said, I mean, they have made a really wonderful mark in the top 16, and it is going to be really, really impressive to see, or interesting to see actually how this team actually moves further in. Because just being on the 16th position, it's not going to be enough, especially when you know there is going to be an entire day, 5 games that you will not be able to perform. CampToWin need to make sure that by the end of today, they find a way inside the top 10 at least. KINGsNepal is not that far away. 68 points. KINGsNepal sitting on 87. So just 19 points that they have to cover up. Let's see if that is going to be a possibility. Although on the other side, let's go. Do I expect them to actually be a part of the top 16 after the next game? Maybe we can see sort of a really wonderful performance from them. But Ace, look at them. There's 2 point difference between them and Cinema Arts. And Ace, they are starting off really, really slowly, but maybe we are just going to see this team sort of be uh, inside of the top 20 at least by the end of the day, and maybe in the next 5 matches, the last 5 matches that Ace will be playing, they somehow manage to find a way inside the top 16.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in the top 16, they've already found their way inside. I mean, just, somehow. But again, it just really comes down to how CampToWin is going to be able to, preserve that spot for themselves. Because in the future, we do know BADCOPS still, they have to step in. They're still having a little bit of dull games here and there. And a team like Let's Go Fishtail as well, we do know they have to be one of the best out there without a doubt. But still, something is missing, and that's why the missing spot needs to be found. I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line we're going to be finding it. But yeah, just like in the past, there's going to be no break again for you, ladies and gentlemen, because we are going to be keeping the action unpaused. We're just going to be keeping the action going and back-to-back games happening. So at least that's going to be putting a little bit of smile onto your faces.
Yeah, definitely. And with that being said, let's just jump into match number 3, ladies and gentlemen. The match of Erangel. It is going to be live, and this trajectory leans heavily towards the southern and the western side of the map, starting from the western edge of Hospital and going all the way towards the Novorepnoy side. It's going to be quite troublesome for the teams that do like to go towards the Severny and the Stalbert area, also towards the side of Yasnaya, DRS. There is going to be a possibility for an early game fight.
Yeah, possibility for early game fight without a doubt. That might be, but yeah, as we did mention here, that the main problem is DRS likes to go towards Yasna, and the plane fly path is a little too far away. So now let's see where they're going to be opting out for to drop, because Yasna pretty much seems like it's going to be really tough to actually stretch your parachute all the way towards Yasna. Maybe dropping in somewhere in the center, try and go for those vehicles, and then traversing in Yasna is probably the most mature decision you can make, or else you can try and create yourself a temporary drop spot. That's probably what you should be doing if you're in the DRS mindset. Because right now, DRS, what they're really trying to do here is that they're just trying to rack up a lot of kills. So maybe you can, cross-challenge someone's drop locations. Maybe you can do that.
Maybe. Let's see if that is actually going to be a possibility, and if that is actually going to be a thing that actually works out for the squad. But so far, I mean, it's going to be really interesting. Again, CampToWin part of an early skirmish, but Shawl, since he does not have a single weapon that he can use to spray long distance, he won't actually even try and attempt to go for a fight right now. Just needs to save his positions. The players that have surrounded him are just trying to delay his own teammates and himself getting into a position from where he might be able to fight his way out. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what exactly CampToWin have in their mind, as DRS Dima running out in the open. Sujin, he is moving forward, so he's not going to be looking right behind him in the early game stages. He's going to be totally focused on just getting out and finding some cover for himself. So DRS Nima might just be able to get away with sort of having an off drop in this game.
Exactly. Look at that UMP kind of coming in. A lot of shots being instilled onto them, but it seems like Raw is going to be the one to steal the food away from them, man. Well, they finally have managed to find themselves a knockout there with that AKM, and Susan now wanted to actually utilize his car, utilize his vehicle, but then realized, oh, there are a lot of people nearby. Maybe doing that or making that kind of a desperate move isn't really going to be the best. But hey, anyways, he's going to be doing that. He wants that kill. He's looking quite hungry. He's like that hungry tiger who does want that kill no matter what. He has been waiting for the prize this a long time, and finally he's gotten it. So why would you leave it? Why would you let it go?
Exactly, as you said, why would you let it go? But I don't think the players from the side of Raw Official 2 intend to do that. Abish is going to be finished off, and look at Shaw Few more shots, and that's going to be it. There's the kill has been secured by Shawl for his team. CampToWin. This should have just gotten away. They should have just run away from the entire situation, not try and force anything against the players of Raw Official, but still being a little too greedy is going to be the thing that's going to be resulting in them losing out on their own teammate.
For now, just a little bit of chill environment going on in the game here. You know, it's just starting frags happening here and there, a little bit of salt, pepper being sprinkled onto each other. You know, this is just like the seasoning phase where, you know, in the start you do season your food and then later on you get ready to eat it. And this is when you do ready to get it, it's going to be that kind of the late game, that kind of the late zone. You know, this is where teams are ready to eat each other. And I do want to see how that late game is going to be decorated for us in our front of lines. Because take a look at this. We already do have Wayout SATAN and High Voltage quite close to each other. I mean, Wayout SATAN do like to go towards Rozhok, High Voltage towards School. This is where they've been going for a long time. Harame, the Pubg area. And, well, DRS, again, no matter what drop location they have, no matter what plane fly path is, they're probably going to be taking those vehicles and going towards Yasna. This is where it's kind of their safety cushion. They just like to go there no matter what.
Well, as you said, it is a safety cushion, and they do like to go there no matter what, but this time the position is going to work out for them, as it is going to be a really good position inside the circle. They will not be challenged for, I believe, 5 to 6 minutes, even more than that inside of this matchup. But if we are talking about challenge, I want to see what is going to happen towards the players of Ace. They have gone for a split drop for themselves, with Despot dropping out towards the western side of Hospital and still actually being present in that position, while his teammates were towards the west of Query. And now, even though Dipesh and the other lads have started to move north, will they actually be able to regroup becomes a really big question. And also, there's a massive difference between the players of OK Shata as well. Kings is present in Ruins, while his teammates are still in the position of Zarki.
Yeah. But look at this now. As you did mention now, finally a kickshot is probably going to be moving inside from that Zarki position. Christian Esports squad is quite in close lines. I'm pretty sure they're going to be well aware of a kickshot in making a rotation, because if they do opt out for those vehicles, which they will have to because the circle is quite far away, the vehicle stand will be pretty much given away unless they have some kind of a secretive card rolled up their sleeve that they're probably going to be rolling out into this game. But it doesn't really seem like it. They probably are taking a little bit of a classic approach in the game, which is understandable. You don't really want to change things in the end moment because you're probably not really confident to show it out again, right? It's kind of like a product which is not really finished, but you do know if you maybe utilize it, it will work. If it works, it's just going to be bringing in wonders. If it doesn't, then it's going to be a complete embarrassment.
Well, let's see. I mean, what is going to happen in the late game stages? Maybe they might just be able to recover, even if they have a really, really bad early game for themselves. But it is definitely not going to be easy for them to pull it off. Again, Erangel starting out quite slow, just one player we saw getting taken out in the early game stages. Apart from that, everyone is looking in a really comfortable position. PWP Esports need to see a comeback from this squad as well. They did do really well for themselves during the week one, but week two had not really off to a good start, getting taken out in a few of the games that they've played so far. So they still have 3 more matches, including this one. This game is just starting out, by the way. 6 minutes inside this game, and there is going to be a possibility for PWP to actually recover in the overall scenario. But let's see if that is actually going to happen. Along with the players of High Voltage, of course, the first 2 games they have not really done anything, getting taken out early in both the matches.
So you did mention getting taken out early in both the matches. High Voltage now, I mean, they have gotten themselves the entire kind of school and apartment area, so they're looking quite great on their loot. This is what you expected for a team like High Voltage, and now finally they're on a move. They do realize they need to get themselves a little bit more comfortable kind of side for themselves. They need to get a decent compound in their hands. They probably for now have seemed like they have found it, but they will need to make sure that at least they're cleaning it out because it has already been looted. The doors are open. Especially if you do see the doors open, that means the devil has already knocked onto them, and you need to make sure it's being cleared. You need to cleanse it. And that's what they try to do, but instead it seems like they're a little too lazy. They're not going to be doing that. Instead, they decide to just back off and try and find themselves a little bit better positioning, which is understandable. Probably moving it onto the hilltop. Yep, getting yourself the high ground is one of the best things you can do in those late game situations. And this is what High Voltage is exactly doing, right? They're stopping in, they're scouting the areas out, and then they're moving again. And this is just kind of a thing that you know about a good team, right? each and every single move they make, it is kind of a calculated move. It is kind of a scouted out move.
Well, as you said, I mean, every single move needs to be calculated, and you need to take into account what is going to happen in the worst case scenario as well. I always say this: always have a plan B ready. I mean, in this game, the scenarios might majority of the times they're not going to work out exactly the way you think, and that is why you need to have an option to fall back on. For now, although talking about this particular scenario, I like the position that the players of Harame have actually taken for themselves, taking control of this potato hill, and they do have another squad, the players of High Voltage, actually pinned down, and I believe Device knows exactly where the lads are. Although there is a little bit of a distance between the two squads, so it is going to be a while before the fight actually happens. But even if it does happen, Harame, they're going to be sitting at an advantage. The players in a wonderful position. Device is going to be the one delaying the push, and the rest of the lads are just going to be focused on dishing out the damage. And since the next shift of the circle is going to be right over them, both the teams will have the opportunity to just hold on to their position and not really be worried about forcing a fight in order to move inside the circle.
So you did mention they're not going to be worried about at least moving inside the circle for now, so they're looking quite great. And look at this now. Already finally we do see a little bit of shots being rattled here and there because teams are moving in quite close, as we do know. You know, the circle are closing in slowly and steadily. Teams do move in close next to each other as well, and there's no other options left, right? If you want to clear the air, if you want to clear the field, you will have to take each other down. You will have to fight against each other, and that's the only way you're going to be finding yourself a good spot in the circle. So again, a lot of passive approach being taken inside the game by the Nepal region here, but TDK blah 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 finally running somewhere over, turning someone over, and that's going to be a little bit stalled on the injury. JyanMaara on the receiving end now, sniped by TP, caught off guard unfortunately. Look at the approach that blah 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 is bringing inside the game. This man is just too quick to handle, but look at that, he's also getting shot at from the back line. Shaw is going to be the one to fire in from the back lines. They definitely do need a fresh magazine. They're going to be doing so. But hey, look at this though. JyanMaara, now I don't really like the position of Gunnar here. He's out in the open. But hey, at least his backlines are being covered by Shah.
Well, as you said, at least the backlines are being covered as well. But it's not going to be easy for the team to go for the late rotations right now. I mean, they've already started the game in a really interesting way, heading over towards the military island and then moving to the main island early, even before the players of BADCOPS actually were able to figure out rotation for themselves. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how the rest of the game actually plays out for the side of JyanMaara. Especially with the momentum coming in from the last game, they should be able to recover in a really nice manner in this match as well. And I expect them to be at least in the top 5 in this game with a decent number of kills. But a team that needs to recover, it is going to be T2K. They have had interesting performances, but even so far, I mean, it has been a bit of a challenge, always losing out on those individuals in those team fights. And if they can somehow manage to control the early stages of the team fight, be the first ones to find an opening, they just might be able to make it out to the late stages.
Exactly. Aayo Team Ts are looking pretty great for now inside the game. So where they do see one more team in the close lines, I don't really know if they're going to be reacting. Are they going to be showing a reaction? Or do they even have any clue? Are they in their senses? They have one more team in the back lines. It's going to be the team of Skylightz Gaming. And they're moving it quite unnoticed. They're moving it quite like fearless, and I don't really like this. If you're going to be moving inside the game like that, being so fearless, you will have to face a lot of consequences because you will need to at least watch out all the time. Try and pick out the areas out. But here we have Plaza PWP finally stepping inside. Well, this is what I was talking about. Moving it fearless, and this is where they get caught off guard as well. Walk straight into a trap.
Well, as you said, I mean, just walking straight into the trap right there, and it is going to be a bit of a challenge. KINGsNepal moving forward. The team of Aayo Team Ts, they're going to be taking a little bit of a shot since the players of Skylightz Gaming will have the line of fire available as well. But since the players of Skylightz Gaming are the first ones to take the shots, KINGsNepal, they get the information as to exactly where Heaven is. They're going to wait for him to peek on towards the door of that shack, and then maybe Nixon is going to look to dish out a lot of damage on the individual. But let's see when the fight is going to exactly break out, and if it's going to be a 4v4 situation, or are we going to see the third-party scenarios sort of coming into action. It is not going to be easy for either of these teams, and in the meanwhile, we do see KINGsNepal actually just prioritizing cover, prioritizing getting some cover for themselves and control of the city area in order to make it to the late game stages, which can actually be a really good decision for the squad.
As you did mention, which can actually definitely be a good decision for this squad there, but again, Oh, look at this. Skylightz Gaming on a little bit of a hunt here. They're following someone right in the front lines. Does seem like quite a drifting game going on up till now. They have found themselves a good shack. So they will be looking quite great. They do have a decent amount of high ground as well. They have a lot of high ground actually for themselves. So they're looking quite great, but they need to make it inside the circle. This is where a problematic situation does arise. If Skylightz Gaming is a little too late to make it inside, we do know what they will have to go through. They will have to face a lot of consequences because we already do see. Take a look at the southern side of the circle. So many teams are traversing inside, including PWP King. You have TDK slowly, steadily moving in. Aayo Team Ts is probably going to be the one to face against the lads from Skylightz Gaming.
Well. I mean, that is going to be a fight that we are going to be expecting to happen soon, but they have to worry about the fact that DRS is right in front of them, JyanMaara in the backlines as well, and there's a massive cluster of teams forming towards this position between Shelter and Yasnaya Poliana. Again, this is a open area, but unlike the place towards Katka, instead of having flats, we do have some hills that the players might be able to use for themselves to get the high ground to be able to cover up certain positions for themselves, and that is going to be the thing that's going to be really important for them. Having a position like the players of CampToWin right now might just be the thing that gives you an advantage in an early game team fight, but it is not going to be easy as Harame, they are trying to rotate, trying to get away from the side of the players of Skylightz Gaming. Device might take a few shots from Chari, but I believe his teammate is going to be in the backlines providing some cover, and Chari takes a little bit of damage from MR5.
As you did mention, Chari does take a little bit of damage from MR5 there, without a doubt. But now, one more thing kind of just shows up in our mind is that what are they going to try to do here in these kind of situations, right? They need to at least step themselves up as soon as possible. And probably this is what they're trying to do as well. I mean, as we all do know, this is just the kind of that fourth day over here of the semifinals. So, I mean, things are still looking great. You do have 2 more days upcoming in the future, so maybe you do have a little bit of safety cushion. But again, as I did mention, precautions are better than cure. Maybe you can try and set up your lead as good as possible now, and then later on in the future line, you can probably sit back, relax, and chill, and wait the other teams, and just get some popcorns in their hand and watch the other teams fight. But hey, here we have another fight, kind of maybe happening. DRS head-to-head against the lads of High Voltage. Now, in these kind of circumstances, in these kind of scenarios, I really feel like High Voltage might just have a little edge, but DRS as well, I feel like they have a lot of cover, so nothing much can be said.
Well, as you said, nothing too much can be said, but look at the shift of the circle, just moving towards the western side, and again, the southern Yasnaya open field, it is going to be quite tricky for the teams to actually conquer this position. In the meanwhile, Skylightz Gaming, Leon is going to be taken down from the backlines as, okay, Shata, they're going to look to want to be a part of this action. DRS is going to close in on this position as well. We've seen these fights before, and it is going to be really intense in the late game stages. Earlier on, even to the 20-minute marker, you're going to see everyone just prone out into these open fields, just staying close to the edge, just hiding on the edge positions of the circle, and then we will have a lot of teams surviving to the late game stages, and it is going to be really chaotic. But Leon has been revived. There's going to be a lot of utility that's going to be tossed on these players by the players of Aayo Team Ts, but I believe it's going to fall a bit short, and the team is outside the circle, so they're going to look to move inside, close to the edge as well. It's not going to be easy though. DRS on the flank, Skylightz Gaming right in the dip. Instead of tossing a nade, would have been better, but damage is going to be dished out from the other side as well, as Ace is going to be taken down by the players of DRS. In the backlines though, okay, Shata taking on the players of T2K, and they do manage to find a wonderful opening for themselves.
They have managed to find a wonderful opening there. And look at that now, Galzin. I mean, he has his size locked in the front lines. He does see a lot of people in the next lines as well. Rana, oh, that's a great beamer of a spray. Will be pretty much dragging Rana down to hell, and this is not what we like to see. Cops, they're already on the struggling phase. They're already stumbling across here and there, especially if DRS is going to be firing on all cylinders, especially if a man like Galzin is feeling himself, then hey, what do you expect from them, right? I mean, you are going to be expecting lads of DRS to actually just outshine each and every single player, outshine each and every single team in the lobby. But hey, you do have their competition. You do have Aayo Team Ts. You do still have Skylightz Gaming alive. Unfortunately, Chari is on that receiving end. Skylightz Gaming is on that receiving end. But hey, it does seem like a little bit of gunpowder has been subtracted again. And Chari is going to be the man who actually falls down. But look at that skull-cracking shot coming in from heaven with that beautiful Kar 98 just connecting right onto the dome.
Well, let's see. As you said, I mean, that is going to be a really beautiful shot, but is that going to be enough to actually be able to take down the opponents? In the meanwhile, PWP under a lot of pressure against the players of KINGsNepal, who are taking damage from the backline as well. Two lads have been taken down, but in the flank, Demon Whitey is still trying to see if he can take all side of PWP down. The spray did connect a little bit, almost down 50% HP, but it's a grenade that's going to be doing the major chunk of the damage, and Rules is going to be taken out as well. KINGsNepal, they do manage to survive this fight, but they need to be careful as well, as from the back lines we do have a team closing in on that position, and that's going to be the squad of BADCOPS. If they do engage on the players of KINGsNepal right this second, they will be able to get an entire squad wipe, and it is going to be something that will be working out in favor of BADCOPS. But let's see if that is actually going to happen. In the meanwhile, JyanMaara will be forced to take an early exit in this match.
Yeah, exactly. JyanMaara finally being forced to take an early fight. And, well, for now, it does really seem like up till now, throughout the day, JyanMaara has been a force to be reckoned with. They have been looking really good. And if they just keep on continuing the domination they're showing, I'm pretty sure they might just be able to, get themselves that first spot on the board. Here we have Cops as well, stepping themselves up. Finally, Wayout SATAN as well, getting themselves some nade knocks here and there. Utilities being utilized. We do know the late circle do tend to get really hefty, do tend to get really risky. And look at this, MR5. I don't know why he's really shooting. A lot of TDK, he's kind of moving out in the open until he decides to just stay behind the tree. If I was in his shoes, I would try to take a little bit shots on DJ in there.
Well, that is going to be a possibility, but let's see what the players are thinking. I mean, we're going to find out exactly what the players are thinking and what they are trying to accomplish in this match. In the meanwhile, Wayout SATAN taking on the players of T2K, and Utsaga is going to be taken down. This is the last player from the side of T2K still surviving. Shinx is going for the charge, needs to be careful. There's another man hiding behind the tree. Shinx with a UMP in his hand is going to have to hip fire the entire clip inside the smoke, but that is required, as even the last player from set T2K is going to be finished off. They take an exit with 5 kills coming in for the squad. CampToWin is still alive inside of the top 12, but that is not going to be enough. The team has lost one individual. They need to make sure that they're securing a few more kills before they're taken out.
As you did mention, they need to make sure they're securing a few more kills here and there before they do get taken out. Look at that. CampToWin, as you did mention, 0 kills on their name. Kings know they do have found themselves 3 kills. But the funny part over here is that look at the late game zone. Each and every single team has all 4 of their players alive. But finally, we do see slowly and steadily them also stumbling down and falling down to their knees. Wayout SATAN also taking a lot of damage. This is where Wayout SATAN is also making those trades happening back and forth. Aayo Team Ts is going to be the one to actually instill a lot of just to rain down death and destruction onto them. And look at this, xACEx. Without a blink of an eye, 3 players have been knocked out. They're barely hanging on a cliff on just that one player. But hey, as I'm talking, they're going to be eliminated out the game. Same thing goes with Raw. They're barely hanging on the edge of the cliff with just that one player alive. And a lot of burden is on that one single player.
Well, as you said, a massive chunk of the burden is going to be on that last surviving player for the team. But it is not going to matter, as the entire squad is going to be taken out. Skylightz Gaming, although in a little bit of trouble, we do see Joker in front of us just thrown out behind the car. Heaven is trying to see if he can clear out the players of Aayo Team Ts in the front lines and also go for a revive on his own teammate Chari, who was knocked out a few seconds earlier. This team is just stuck on the edge of the blue zone. If the zone, actually, the circle moves away from them, there's going to be a lot of pressure. But BADCOPS doing a wonderful job. Spicer is going to be able to secure one more kill for his team, although Black is going to be blown up to bits and pieces. Now, just 2 players from the side of Black. BADCOPS still surviving after Black was finished off. Ace on the other side, trying to see if they can secure a lot of kills for themselves as well. 2 kills secured by the team, and they need to make sure that they walk away with a decent number of points in this match as well. Although talking about points, look at Wayout SATAN, 10 kills. 2 players are surviving, but still 10 kills for the team. That is just incredible.
As you did mention, 2 players surviving, but still 10 kills for the team there. They'd be locked in the front lines. It's landing quite close, but we haven't really seen any critical damage being instilled up till now. Ace still alive in the game as well. Fishtail is going to be the one in the front lines. Look at that smoke being locked in the back. So looking quite great. Got to give props to Ace that they have made it up till so late in the game. But Ace, I mean, they have had a kind of a pass where they just choke out in the open. They just choke in those pressurizing moments. And finally, hopefully they have overcome that. Hopefully they have kind of gotten over it, because they have gotten a lot of games in their hands, and hopefully they have learned from their mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, as you said, hopefully they have learned from their mistakes, and maybe we're going to see this team move forward towards the finals and get a lot of good performances from them. But finally, Wayout SATAN is going to be shut down. 10 kills are all they're going to get, and they get taken out on the 10th position. So those kill points are going to be really important for the squad. But moving forward, let's see. Aayo Team Ts also getting taken out. DR is doing a wonderful job, but they do get one of their own players knocked out. So it's going to be quite important for the team to actually get a revive goal. Just hiding behind the haystack and smoke. It's going to be really important to take on the players of Let's Go. Despot on the other side is going to be able to find a knock and the finish instantly on towards the lad from Let's Go. I believe that they are down to just one last player surviving, or one last player surviving for the side as well. And Ace just looking so wonderful in how they are finding openings in these final team fights for themselves. 5 kills secured by the team. Gold needs to heal up before the vehicle gets blown up. Otherwise, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Despot is still alive, and they're putting up a lot of pressure on the players of high voltage as well, as Aussie is going to be forced behind the cover.
As you did mention, Aussie's going to be forced behind the cover. Look at that ace as well on that receiving end. Aussie, oh man, it seems like, as you did mention, Aussie has been stepping up quite a lot since the past days and finally stepping up again inside this game. Stepping up huge when his team needs him the most. And look at that. That nade did quite a lot of damage on Nima. Another nade being lobbed in from Nima. A little bit shaky side coming out from his part there. But he needs to heal himself back up. At the same time, Mafia Ninja, the res needs to be gone onto him. Mafia Ninja, for now, he's just trying to create himself a little bit of safety angle, but he also needs to realize that he needs to move in close to his teammates. And he's also getting bled out. Finally, the res has been stuck onto him. So Nima doing a great job of taking care of his teammates, being that mother, but you also need to realize that you're going head to head against a squad like Skylightz Gaming, and I know they're not just going to let that slide away that easily. Look at those nades. They just look like firecracker. They're kind of busting out in the mid-air. Oh my god, that was really close. Look at Joker is down, barely surviving.
Well, as you said, he's barely surviving, barely alive. The players from Skylightz Gaming are completely pinned down. Look at the Molotov.
Oh my
Is going to
God,
be taken out
no.
as well. Chari outside the house is still alive, but Heaven and Joker, they're going to be in a lot of pressure. And DR is doing a wonderful job trying to secure this fight for themselves. But Nima in the front line, if this nade connects, Heaven is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to get knocked out, in fact. But in the back lines, Leon is getting a revive for himself. Joker with the nade of his own is going to try and see, and it is going to be perfect. Kobe, Nima is going to be taken down. Mafia Ninja is low as well. Skylightz Gaming take him out on top in this fight against the top contenders. Their rivals, CRS Gaming, will be shut down.
Mafia Ninja just kind of scared, kind of that scared pet inside the house who's hiding. He does know, well, this is it for him because they're going up against giant mammoths. They're going up against giants, and they're probably going to be slapping them easily. And yes, they do. DRS pretty much been taken out the game. Mafia Ninja is not going to be able to out-survive the entire squad of Skylightz Gaming. Pretty much expected things happening. BADCOPS as well, taking an exit from the game if I'm not wrong, but no, still they're hanging on it. At least that's a great thing for them. They have managed to at least put themselves in decent positioning for now. But again, the question again rises here: is that enough to push them up? Maybe it is, because they have got themselves 4 kills. If they're able to stick up till second position, then they have a decent amount of points. But Spice Sutter, yep, finally he has been spotted. Well, not really that great of performance. But now it's all down to that divide. It's about one last man standing from the side of King.
As you said, I mean, one last man still standing from the side of KINGsNepal, and he is not going to go out without a fight. Kuwait is going to be able to find an opening. Aussie is going to be taken down and finished off, in fact. But in the backlines, high voltage, they get taken out as well. And whoa, KINGsNepal in the top 2. Skylightz Gaming making an amazing comeback in this matchup. 8 kills secured, and the chicken dinner is secured by this team as well. Incredible performance. Skylightz Gaming, incredible performance from KINGsNepal, and also, I have to say, really incredible performance from Wayout SATAN as well. Those kills are going to be so important for the team, but chicken dinner winners, Skylightz Gaming, 9 kills, 24 points, and top 11 position in the overall standings.
As you did mention, 9 kills, 4 points, and 1,733 damage being dealt. Overall ranking of 11. Quite great. Skylightz Gaming, you can tell by their faces as well, looking great, pulling themselves up as well. And hey, expected win. Pretty much predictable win there. You do have a team like Skylightz Gaming or any team that are pretty much massive, and they have a massive reputation in the Nepal gaming community. It's just in there. So in general, if you do see them alive with all 4 of their players hanging on it, it's pretty much easily predictable, right? That it's just going to be their domination completely. The win's going to be flowing in one way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the wind is definitely going to be flowing in one way, but it is going to be quite interesting to see if they can be more consistent in the next two matches as well. Because Skylight Gaming and DRS, these are the two names that you always want to see in the top five. I mean, seeing this team outside of the top five is already a surprise enough, and just sort of the early performances that they had in this tournament were sort of. Uh, the second part of the surprise. I mean, did not really expect them to get taken out earlier on. So it is quite nice to see this sort of a comeback from Skylight Gaming, and this is sort of the old strategies that they always employed, like early game, just be present inside of the match, try and engage in the fight, but not fully commit to anything. And even during the late stages, just be as safe as possible. Do not commit unless it's the last resort or you have a really heavy advantage. So look at this.
Yeah.
Highlight Gaming Aussie is going to be the MVP of this game with 5 kills and 693 damage.
As you did mention, Ozzy's going to be the one to actually add MVP into that game. So, hey, now this also means that, I mean, this high voltage have been pretty looking good. As I did mention, Ozzy had his pop-up moment. He had done a lot of flashy plays in that previous game, but this also means that this was the third game, right? Third game has been concluded. Skylight Gaming was the one who came out on top. That means they're probably going to be getting themselves back up on the top 8. That means still a lot of mysteries are being continuing on the latter half of the court, but take a look at the top 4 players. You still have Ozzy on the top, and you have top Surf going to be there as well. He tried his best to kind of hang on to the ridge, but unfortunately he couldn't really do that. Then Joker again chiming in. Then you have Mafia Ninja again from DRS. Someone from DRS always has to be. DRS always has to make their name, no matter what game it is, no matter if they're even having a bad game. There always will be a lad from DRS who has his name in the top 4 players. That's actually quite mesmerizing to watch.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, it is going to be mesmerizing to watch the way DRS have been playing so far today, and it is just incredible the performance the team has sort of displayed in the matches. But looking at the match summary, we do have Aussie with the highest damage and the highest kills towards himself. CampToWin's Surgeon is going to be there with the longest distance kill, 313 meters. Then we have Let's Go's Tesla Zord on the most utility is used, 23, and Zord from Wayout SATAN is going to be on the maximum assist, with 3 being the number. Quite interesting right there. But it was an impressive game. There were a lot of chaotic fights happening towards the late game stages, and because of that, this is what I was just about to talk about. You do see the kills sort of being not kills exactly, but the points sort of being nicely sort of split between every single team that was present in the late game stages. Apart from Wayout SATAN, of course, they got taken out on the 10th position, but those 10 kills bring them 11 points from this game.
Exactly, as you did mention, those 10 kills brought them 11 points in the game. And hey, Skylight Gaming got themselves a chicken dinner. We do see that. But JyanMaara, unfortunately, I mean, a team that has been doing quite great. As I did mention, I feel like that's the hospitals right there. I was giving them a lot of props in the past, and now out of nowhere, they just completely coming through, disappointing all the fans. But it's just that one game, so it's fine. One a little open space given away in that one game is fine. A little bit of breather can pretty much get them back up on their mindset. They can pretty much reset it back. But now the main question arises here. 3 games have already passed it through. That means only 2 more games left for the day. Do you think the latter half is going to be able to pull it off?
I mean, it is going to be a big question, and I don't really have an answer to it, because in order to make a comeback, you need to make sure that the games are being played in sort of the standard old-fashioned. And we have seen a lot of experimentation happen in the early game stages by sort of the biggest teams. But now in the late game stages, I mean, everyone is sort of resorting back to the textbook plays, back to the textbook play style, sticking close to the edge, the meta that has sort of evolved in the recent days, and then we do see the comeback happening from, as you did mention during the start of the day, you anticipated the team sitting on the lowest part of the standing are doing a wonderful job right now. But I mean, in order to be consistent, you have to take these fights. This was an interesting game for the side of Ace as well, but I want to see more. I want to see more from this team. Now, the challenge that we have talked about for the side of Ace, I mean, they're not moving up to those positions, just managing to do a decent enough job to get decent enough points from every single game. But I want to see them be in the top 3 next time with at least 6 to 7 kills to their name. If they can pull that off, then maybe there's going to be a possibility that this team might just make it to, well, barely somewhere around breaking into the top 16. And, well, they still will have 5 more matches to go. Right now, it's 7. We have 2 matches today, and 5 more are going to be played by Ace another time. But even in 7 games, they might just be able to clutch out a position in the top 16, but it's going to be a challenge for sure.
As I did mention, even in just 7 games, they might just be able to clutch out their position. There's the might here. But again, I mean, JyanMaara still, I mean, ruling the charts. It doesn't even matter if one game just slipped away. They're still ruling the charts. But what really matters is that they're also giving a little bit of room for the other teams to also get closer onto them and probably make a surprise attack happen. But JyanMaara, they need to be a little bit more cautious in the upcoming games. But yeah, again, in the overall ranking of the latter half, the Arrows have moved up quite up in the 9th position. Skylightz Gaming as well moved up all the way to 11th. Elementrix still on 12th, Team XTREME on 13th. Harame now have moved in to 14th place. And BADCOPS, with that great of a game, they have moved up all the way to 15th. And I'm a little happy to see them on that ladder now.
Well, as you said, I mean, it is going to be really interesting to see them on their latter half. But now, since the has been sort of a fight being displayed by a lot of these teams, this is a team that I want to talk about. Look at Ace moving up to the 22nd position, 39 points. There is still a little bit of a difference, I mean, between them and CampToWin, but maybe in the next 2 matches, Ace, if they can manage to secure the top 3 finishes back to back, they might just be able to get themselves in a position from where the possibility of the finals can actually become a reality. But for now, CampToWin, they're doing a pretty good job, and I believe by the end of the day, we're going to see CampToWin move into the top 16 somehow. But they need to make sure that the consistency that this team is displaying in today's matches doesn't go away tomorrow or the day after. They have to keep on playing this way if they want to make sure that somehow they move to the finals. Otherwise, the dream is just gonna it is gonna be in shambles, and it's gonna get shattered.
As I did mention, the teams, pretty much the dreams will be shattered. I mean, nothing much if things are looking still shaky just the way they are. Ace will have to make something happen without a doubt. And as I did mention, only 2 more games left in the upcoming lines. I don't really know what to expect from a team like Ace, but hey, with that being said, I feel like that's it, right?
Yeah, I mean, for now, we're gonna take a very short break, so just don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break with the next 2 matches.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the PUBG Mobile National Championship for the Nepal region, brought to you by the Oppo F19 Pro. Book up your fun with the Oppo F19 Pro. This is Super Johnny, joined by Necro alongside with me, and today is going to be day number 4. The semi-finals, 3 matches are already done. Erangel, Miramar, and Erangel. Now all we are left with is one more Sanhok and one last Erangel. So let's just jump right into the action as match number 4 of today. It is live right now, and the trajectory of the plane it is going to be in front of us soon.
Exactly. Well, match is already live, and thank God we're not late to the party. I do like to see each and every single player just kind of ejecting out the plane, and yeah. Well, already the plane fly path starting from Hudson and ending all the way towards Camp Bravo. So a little bit of another side of playing fly path, but again, on the map of down, you don't really need to worry. You can stretch out your parachutes for quite long. So even if your drop location is a little further away, the only thing it means is that it will just cost a little bit of time.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, it is going to cost them a little bit of time, but uh, still, I mean, Sanhok is not really a map. This trajectory might give a little bit of a trouble to the players that like to go towards the southern part of the maps, but that is not going to happen. I mean, even if you are going to be a little bit too late to your drop location, you have to be a little careful with these early game
Yeah.
team fights. I mean, look at this. JyanMaara and Wayout SATAN, they were the earliest ones to drop out, and this is where most of the fights do actually tend to happen right now. Shinx, he is going to be caught off guard. I believe the call out has been made, and his teammates are in the backlines as well as Snipe YT, who's finally back in the action on the side of JyanMaara, is going to take a little bit of damage, dropping down to around 50% HP.
Exactly, as you did mention. Uh, well, he has been dropped down to 50% HP. And look at this now, JyanMaara. It seems like they're just going to be pushing inside with full force into these compounds. They do realize there's only 2 lads in the front lines of the way outside. Nate's being locked in. Nate's being cooked. Jinx, this nade is going to be really damaging, but a great way to deny the nade. Instantly shuts the door right onto his face. That means that's going to be denying the nade. At the same time, that's going to be denying that one precious nade he had. And especially in those early games, we do know each and every single utility is really important. Here you have the last time Mara slowly and steadily traversing inside the house, wasn't really able to do a lot of damage. And this PBS, though, we do know how damaging it can be in those close range, but unfortunately, he missed a lot of shots from Samir, and that's why Samir pretty much is going to be taking him out the game. As far as Snipe YT now does see your bowling axe slowly and steadily getting away from that compound. They do realize, we have saying do realize at this point it's pretty much gone cheap, right? You just have to let them go and try and play for those positioning, and this is what Wayout SATAN is going to be doing for the rest of the game.
Well, as you said, maybe this is what they're going to do for the rest of the game, just try and survive. 2 players being taken out earlier on. Did not anticipate that to happen, but JyanMaara were pretty much on point in the way the fight was delayed. And as you mentioned, there's going to be a lot of pressure on these lads. But since they are inside the circle, they might just be able to deal with the challenges. But over on the other side, I mean, this certain circle is going to give a lot of trouble to the other lads. Players like Harame, T2K, Aayo Team Ts, high voltage as well, since they are going to be in a little bit of a tricky situation. It is going to be a really big decision for them to decide how they want to cross over to the Ruins Island, because right now the position is under the control of KINGsNepal, and that is the team that is doing really wonderful in those team fights today.
Exactly. They have been doing quite wonderful in the team fights without a doubt. But look at the circle as well. I mean, the plan path was noted, and then the circle is completely southern, just a drastic shift being taken. But the main problem here again occurs is that look at the water line just dividing the map into 2 pieces, and the same thing goes with the circle as well. It's kind of 50-50. That means a mystery, a massive mystery is being made by the circle here. Massive mystery is being made by the PUBG gods. Is that where is the circle going to be shifting in the end circles? Is where is the circle going to be shifting in the end time? Because is he going to be going to the island on the left, or is he going to be shifting on the island that is on the right? And team will have to pretty much try and work around it. I feel like at this point, the lads of PMNC have one of the best position. The same thing goes with Raw, because even if the circle shifts left or right, they're in the center. They don't really need to do anything. They have control over all the area that is near them.
Yeah, as you said, they have control of all the area that is going to be near them. But let's see. I mean, it is not going to be easy to absorb all that pressure and still be able to come out on top. But if anyone can do it, it is going to be the squad. But over on the other side, Liquid towards the side of the eastern edge of the island towards Kampong. We do have the players from Ace and CampToWin quite close to each other, along with the players of OK Shata, and DRS is going to be moving south quite soon. So it might be tricky for these teams to sort of keep a distance between themselves before they try and engage in any sort of fights during the mid-game stages. But KINGsNepal again are going to be the ones that end up gatekeeping the players of high voltage. Let's see how successful they're going to be. Oh no, it looks like they are falling back from the edge, and they are going to try and see if they can find a way deep enough inside the circle from where they might be able to sort of move towards the late game stages.
As you did mention, kind of move towards the late game stages here. Look at this death spot as well. Has his sights locked onto that CampToWin. Hazard is going to be in the close lines, and well, all it seems like Hazard's going to be running away this time. Though he's really interested. It's going to be falling back. Which is understandable. Now Hazard does know he do not really want to be on the hilltop this early in the game, and we do know if your team does kind of get handicapped in those early game situations, just like how Wayout SATAN did, especially on the map of Sanhok, way much more smaller, and you expect the flood to happen early off in the game. Well, I mean, that's going to be putting your team in such a massive disadvantage because each and every single player do matter in the map of Sanhok. You want to make sure you have each and every single team alive. And this is where Sanhok, I feel like, is a map which is really zone favored. During the zone shift, the teams will have to move inside, and they also have pretty much less time.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, they are going to have much less time compared to the other squads. But let's see. I mean, they might just be able to make it work, and they might just be able to sort of capitalize on the positioning or the mistakes that the other teams make. But talk about capitalization. We do have Havoc from the side of high voltage taking the shots on the players of Aayo Team Ts, and Aussie seems to have spotted out the lads that they're going to think that they are going to be quite safe, but they do not know that Aussie has all the information he needs to go for a squad wipe. And it is going to be quite tricky to see if they are going to come out on top in this fight or not, but let's see.
Exactly, Aussie, Assassin, Havoc, and Extreme. I mean, all these players are pretty much well known. Aussie, though, recently have been stepping up. This man seems informed, and pretty much he is making good use of it. He's taking advantage of it. But on the other hand, the front lines of Aussie is going to be the team of Team Ts. Now, they don't really have a lot of other options rather than to move out. But oh no, Aussie strike in. This is your right moment. You can take out Arsenic easily. He does spot Arsenic though. Arsenic now is going to be the swimming fish, but he's still trying to find the second player. Where the second player is lying around. Aussie, unfortunately, is taking a lot of damage from the blue zone, but it's fine as long as they rack a lot of kills here. They do have a massive advantage inside the fight. But look at Harame. That's Harame. Wrapping up all the way from the long lines. Look at that. They're so far away. I like the rotations being made from their side as well.
I mean, the rotations are definitely looking quite good, but Aayo Team Ts, they are the ones who are looking in a bad position right now, as Extreme is going to find an opening. Arsing is going to be finished off instantly. Now, Gun is going to be the last player surviving, but he's surrounded, and I believe we're going to see the first squad getting taken out in just a few minutes of this matchup. Assassin with a nade is going to see if he can connect the utility on towards Gun. I believe it is going to be perfect to dish out a lot of damage, but the blue zone is here as well. There's going to be a little bit of chip damage being dished out on towards these lads, but let's talk about this. Alrighty, so T2K in the backline, so are taking on the players of DRS. Look towards Lakavi. That is exactly where the fight is happening, quite far away from the next circle that is right here in front of us right now.
Exactly, it's quite far away, but look at that. You have B being utilized. I mean, we have it, it has gone through a massive buff, so it does make sense to actually use this gun, but unfortunately, though, in those close quarters, AK just shines it a little well. That's why Assassin will be taken down, but unfortunately, again, I mean, this really comes down to who was holding that angle well, and that's what he was doing. Aayo Team Ts managed to take one off, wasn't really able to shoot them away. That's why they are going to be the one who gets wiped out in that previous fight. Look at this, DRS trying to hold the lads of TDK on the bay there. Is that going to be that easy of a job? Because the rest two have moved in quite close to the shorelines, and the rest two are still getting held off.
Well, as you said, the other two lads are still getting hurled off, so it's not going to be easy for them to actually see how the final few stages, how the final few moments of the fights are going to go. But DRS, they are being pinned down right now, and as you said, Nima, he was taken out a few seconds ago. Gyaltsen is going to find an opening as Rated is going to be taken out of this fight. CampToWin in the backline is taking on the players of OK Shata, and they are on the losing side of things. But T2K in a troublesome situation as the two lads hiding in the sniper tower are going to try and find a way towards their teammates, but it's not going to be easy with AJ trying to spray them down. Although they do manage to find a safe position for themselves. Let's see if they will be able to get away right now. T2K rated has been revived, but it's not going to be easy for him to move forward as well.
Exactly. Look at this now. We have lots of PWP. Here, moving in slowly, steadily, closing in at the distance. And, well, I mean, PWP is there as well in the clotheslines. While we do have the lads of Raw above them. That means Raw do have an edge inside the fight, but at the same time, PWP have a good cover. So the advantage is kind of equally distributed. But again, I still feel like lads who are in the front line of Raw are in a little bit of disadvantage, which is going to be PWP, because they are separated out quite a lot from each other. Imagine if one lad gets taken out, that means it's going to be pretty much impossible to get the res back onto that guy.
Well, let's see. As you said, I mean, it is going to be quite difficult to get the res, but on the other side, T2K in a bit of a scuffle. Dipesh is going to take a massive hit to the head, but Dipesh is getting surrounded as well. His own teammate in the back lines has been knocked. It's not going to be easy to sort of come out on top in this fight as Jambu needs a revive. It is down to a 3 versus 3, but move forward. Let's see what players of Ace have in the bag, and I guess nothing so far as the page is going to be taken out. T2K with an advantage, blah blah blah, is quite low, but Despot going for a fist going for the finish might just be a bad decision as he's going to end up overexerting and overextending himself in a position that
Oh my God.
really need to have. Finds an opening, is going to have to go for the finish instantly. Two players of the side of Ace still surviving, but they are against the 3 players of Team 2K, so just backing off is going to be the thing that Ace is going to be focused on right now, as Cole has already started his journey to get inside the circle. Despot is going to be required to fall back soon, along with his teammate, but Sarva going for a charge right now. It is going to be quite tricky to make this work. T2K, they are in a really bad position, but so are Ace.
Exactly. Both of them are really in a questionable position here, but for now, TDK do look to have a little advantage. This is where Despot, well, he's getting surrounded by lads of TDK. And look at this. Oh, no. Sneaky Despot this time. Just going to be on the receiving end, though. Doesn't realize. Oh, no. He's also getting compromised from the back lines. At the same time, he's also getting compromised from the front lines. And yes, this is going to be it for Despot. Sarga is the man who's going to be sealing the deal onto him. Ace down to, again, that one last man alive. Ace, again, the woes continues for these lads. Nothing much serious can be seen. I mean, they did seem quite promising when they found themselves that entry on the lads of TDK, but in the end, TDK just has a little bit of edge over them when it comes to that tactical approach and when it just comes to that in general aggression and that experience that TDK yields.
Well, let's see. I mean, it is not going to be easy to deal with a squad like that, even if they are down to just 3 players. But Ace, they are trying their level best. They are doing whatever they can in order to make sure they secure those points and do not get taken out with nothing to show for a game that happened. In the meanwhile, Raw officials are moving inside the circle, but they have to be careful because right in front of them is going to be the squad of Skylightz Gaming that they will have to deal with. In the meanwhile, Aayo Team Ts, look at them, just moving in from the side of Ruins right now. And we do have another team. I believe that is going to be the squad of High Voltage. Yes, it is High Voltage going for the water rotation, and they're going to be landing, I believe, towards the southeastern side of Shami, where we do see the docks right there. Right there, landing towards the west. It is going to be a really tricky position for High Voltage because now they will have to find an entry inside the circle still, and it's not going to be easy to take on the players of Let's Go. But if Let's Go move in deep enough inside the circle, quite close to the center, then maybe High Voltage will have an easier time finding an entry into the safe zone.
Exactly. Maybe they will have a good way to kind of make an entry inside the safe zone. But over here, Harame, though, well, they're on that receiving end. Unfortunately, they're taking quite a lot of damage. This is where rules as well, just kind of just seasoning them down, just kind of raining down death and destruction. But again, the death and destruction doesn't really seem like it's going to be finding its mark. Those are just some blind shots being taken. It's still fear amongst the lads of Harame, which has been done quite successfully. But again, Harame are still moving around like free souls. That means they need to seal Harame down in a particular area. Look at MR5, slowly, steadily approaching, getting closer to the lads of VWP. And MR5's position is still uncompromised. This means Harame do seem to have a little edge.
Well, as you said, they do seem to have a little bit of an edge, but over on the other side, looks like JyanMaara are going to be in a troublesome situation as they're going to lose out on one of their lads, and Harame is still focused on the players of CampToWin as Ace is closing in from the back lines as well. But Harame need to be careful because look on the radar towards their right, they still have to deal with the players of OK Shada. This might be a sandwich situation that Harame did not want, as one of the lads from the side has managed to get a high ground for himself as well. But CampToWin are trying to see if they can take out one more player. Hayabusa is going to be vulnerable for a moment, but Abhinash not going for a single shot right there. Could have actually found an opening, but Spirit is going to take out King B. He's going to get instantly tweeted out and, in fact, get finished off as well. Harame in a really bad position right now. Looks a few seconds ago, it looked like they might just be in a really good position to take out one team, but since they are getting third party, it is not going to be something that's going to be easy for them to pull off. And in fact, it's them getting surrounded from every single direction. Look at PWP closing in from the backlines as well.
As you did mention, look at PWP closing in for the back lines as well. And Harame again in the front lines. This is where OK Shata does see them, but they don't really know how to react in these kind of moments. This is where, I mean, OK Shata are kind of looking really uncomfortable because one man has been knocked out all the way back in the blue zone. Getting him back on feet and getting him inside the circle is going to be really daunting task. And then again, their sufferings are not going to end there. They will have to still focus on front lines. They will have to still focus on how they're going to be rotating inside the circle. That means pretty much they're just surrounded with a lot of problems. If they still manage to kind of find a way around it, I will have to give them a lot of props. But look at this. They're also getting sandwiched between high voltage, and there's one more team right in their right lines. This is a little bit of a problematic situation. Okay, shot that. Well, Hayabusa tried to deal enough damage. He did manage to do that, but Assassin is going to be the one to actually reply back and retaliate back in style. This is where Harame also are getting compromised by the likes of TDK. I mean, fights happening back and forth. As I did mention, that we're getting sandwiched. And in these kind of moments, in these kind of situations, you will have to face the sharp side.
Yeah, I mean, definitely you will have to face the sharp side, as you said. But let's see. I mean, the fight is not over. Harame, they are still in a really bad position. Just one lad surviving. Havoc and OK Shata, they are closing in. Havoc needs to be careful. The blue zone is going to be here for him as well. His teammates are dying out slowly and steadily. Mr. Avi with the nade can actually clean up this entire fight. Havoc is trying to see if he can revive his teammate, but it's not going to be an easy job, taking a lot of damage, and finally he's going to be finished off. High voltage taking an early exit from this match with just 3 kills to their name. We are down to 14 teams still alive and still trying to fight it out inside this match.
As I did mention, we're still down to 14 teams, still alive in the game. And 41 people, 41 players still alive as well. Jane is going to be the one to actually get knocked out, unfortunately. But the main problem here is TDK's positioning. All they have is a little wrist to work around. And PWP, I'm pretty sure they're going to be finishing them over and over again. They're going to be rubbing that salt onto their wounds. Look at this. Nate being lopped in from the side of Rules. Is this going to be making it closer? Probably did, but unfortunately was not really able to deal enough damage. On the other hand, Gunner as well, kind of instilling hell on the lads of DRS. This is where JyanMaara finally, I mean, it seems like in the last game they did realize that they didn't really do that great. They do know now this is the time where they need to strike back in.
Well, let's see. As you said, they need to strike back in, but Ace, in the meanwhile, they will be finished off. DRS in a really bad position. PWP in a sort of a tricky position where they are going to be caught off guard from the backline. With Sargo going for a spray right there. Wonderful knock coming in. Jaguar is going to be low as well. If Sargo can spot him out, he might just be able to take him out as well. And I believe there's going to be the version each of Jaguar, and that is it. PWP, they're going to lose out on 2 players. Jane closing in, moving in from the backlines. PWP in a lot of pressure. Delta knows exactly where his opponent is. He knows exactly where to take the shot, but Jane is just making a run for it. Finally, he's going to be shut down in the middle of his track. Delta getting a wonderful knock. T2K, I believe we are going to see them take an exit in just a few more seconds.
So did say we're finally going to see him take an exit as well. I mean, P2P kind of handicapped there. Now they would really have to rely heavily on those rests, which they're trying their best to get them their teammates back on feet. Delta will have to get back to work. And yes, he is not afraid to do so. On the other hand, Radiator is going to be the only man alive for the lad of TDK. Is the last hope that they have, and he pretty much will have to come true onto that. But look at this. On the other hand as well, again, Skylightz Gaming, they do seem quite good. All their 4 players alive, and if they just keep on going the way they're going right now, I'm pretty sure in the future they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Oh! Oh! Oh my god, no! Oh! Exactly, and we all like one surprising factor I'm also kind of getting here is that we're seeing a lot of
Yeah.
QBZ being utilized as well, right? Finally, the map of Sanhok, because I felt like that code was quite great, but still, it didn't really get that much kind of the, kind of the attention that he needed. But finally, I see it really does seem like players are finally realizing that QBZ has to be one of the best guns out there, and this is why Sanhok the map really rewards you with that gun. But on the other hand, still fights happening here and there, trades happening back and forth. It's going to be the lads of CampToWin to actually instill or rain down death and destruction onto the lads of Raw. Now, Raw, again, I mean, they have been caught on those struggling phases, at least today. They're trying their best to keep consistent performance in forward, but a team like Raw, they have kind of gotten our hopes and expectations up with the way they performed in the group stages.
I mean, definitely. As you said, during the quarterfinals, Raw is sort of regaining the same form that we did sort of in the early stages of the semifinals. We thought that they lost, but look at this. Let's go. This last player, Ale, is going to be the only man surviving, and he's looking to see if he can secure the kill of Black from the side of BADCOPS. There it is. Black overextending himself, but BADCOPS are still moving in his direction. With that 1 point that Ale has managed to find for himself, he is definitely going to get taken out in the next few seconds. We're down to 17, 18 players still alive. Let's go, will be taken out. King's doing a wonderful job right now with all 4 players still alive. 5 got Skylightz Gaming as well. Look at that. Even during the late game stage, they are being really careful with how they want to pick up those fights. Spicer moving in, taking damage from the blue zone might just be the thing that works out in the favor of Ale. There's going to be the first knock. The second player is low as well. A has the ace. Ale, he had the HP advantage right there, but Rana does manage to find a finish. Let's go, getting taken out. And just a few seconds later, Rana is going to be finished off by Gunner from the side of JyanMaara.
She did mention just a few seconds later, Rana's going to be the one to get finished off. But look at this now, Raw. I mean, they're going to be the one to snaking around in the field. They do know things are looking quite shaky. The sword's hanging right on their throats. Even if they make any kind of mistake, the sword's going to be slipped down and pretty much will be cutting them apart. Pretty much will be separating their heads from the body. And look at this. A massive circle shift, a drastic circle shift. That means a lot of pressure is on the lads of King. On the other hand, a lot of pressure is on the lads of Skylightz Gaming and Raw at the same time. But I feel like Raw is going to be the one to actually in that sandwiching factor. Raw is between Skylightz Gaming and the lads of Kings. That means Raw will have to be extra careful.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Raw and KINGsNepal, both of the squads need to be extra careful right now. Nixon has been taken down. Skylightz Gaming closing in from the low ground as well. And right now, no team is inside the circle. The circle is on the slope, and it's not going to be easy for these teams to actually find an entry. Skylightz Gaming with the man advantage might be able to get a few extra kills before they come to the conclusion of the game, and they might just be able to score this game with those kills coming for themselves. But Raw official Sada is going to be the last player surviving.
As I did mention, it's going to be the last man standing for the team there. And again, a lot of pressure is on to Sada's shoulder. A lot of burden is there, and he will need to make it work. At this point, I feel like Sada doesn't really have any other option rather than just stand up and move inside. But it's pretty much gone case for Sada as well. He does realize he's done for now. There's no way he's going to make it inside. Skylightz Gaming, though, still trying to fight back against their fate, trying to make it inside. They have managed to successfully sneak inside the circle, but look at the circle as well, favoring the last of Skylightz Gaming. Now, this is a massive kind of turn of events into their favor. This is the massive tables being flipped. Joker's position still has been compromised, but Joker doesn't really know. There's one more lad of Aayo Team Ts right on the right line. This is where a little bit of anonymous, a little bit mysterious angle is being created from his side, but unfortunately, A-Spot peeks out, and well, Skylightz Gaming is going to be the one to trade things out, but at the same time, KINGsNepal also getting eliminated. This means that is the lad of Raw who's going to be Sada healing himself outside the zone. And look at that, so much damage is being ticked. He only has one more first aid left. Sada realizes the same thing, but I feel like this might just be a little late. Oh no, maybe he will get it back up. Yes, he does. But that's it. That's it. That's it for Sada. There's no way he's going to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, just What is he doing? Shooting inside
He's
the
just
tree right
drilling the
there. Just
hole. Yeah.
Yeah, final few moments, that is not going to happen, but he gets taken out by the Blues one, so he denied the kill to the players of Skylightz Gaming in the end. But it was an incredible finish from this team. Just a wonderful, wonderful day they are having. And look at this, with that, another chicken dinner, they move up to the top 4. Now, this is the Skylightz Gaming that we all wanted to see. This is the team that was missing for a while, but hey, guess what? They're back, I guess.
As you did mention, hey, guess what? They're pretty much, yep, they are definitely back. And, well, Skylightz Gaming, again, they have found themselves another chicken dinner. It seems like today was definitely their day. And look at that overall ranking of hashtag 4, all the way from 11th position to all the way up to 4. And, well, I mean, I don't need to say anything else. I mean, that those stats pretty much do kind of describe their journey throughout the semifinals.
I mean, as you said, I mean, they do describe their journey throughout the semifinals, and it has been incredible the way this team has performed. It is so fun to watch sort of them regaining their old form that was missing during the quarterfinals, missing during the first few days of the semifinals. But even in the last week, they are doing a wonderful job. And I guess now they're displaying what the challengers will have to go up against once this team steps into the final top 16, the final few days of this tournament. But look at this, we do have the MVP of this game. It is going to be Reckon from the side of Shata with 4 kills, 1 assist, just 20 healing done, because the lad wasn't even given an opportunity to heal up anymore, was just finished off, and just a 15-minute survival time. This is quite interesting for this game.
Yeah, this is definitely quite interesting without a doubt. As you did mention, 4 kills, damage of 733 dealt, survival time of 15-16, and then you have 1 assist and 20 healing done. I mean, still, I mean, Recon did quite a great job from Shata, but unfortunately, you know, in the end, things were looking quite shaky, and that's why they weren't really able to make it in. And hey, I mean, again, props should be given. They did try their best. They're giving everything they have, but in the end, they're just not really able to surpass through the best.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have to surpass the best, but let's see exactly how things are going to go about as we are moving towards the last game of the day. It is going to be on Erangel once again, and I want to see what the rest of the lads in the top 4 list are going to look like. So here it is, with Utsarga from the side of T2K getting 4 kills, Rules from PWP getting 2 kills but a lot of damage being dished out, and Heaven from the side of Skylightz Gaming 3 kills, 371 damage, 23 minutes survival time. So this is all because of the fact that in the new ranking system, the players, more priority is given out to the damage that they dished out and the survival time rather than the kills. It helps that Reckon already did have those 4 kills, but it's that damage number that helped him secure the MVP of this match.
Exactly, as you did mention, it's those damage numbers, you know, that kind of helped him there to secure that. That's why Utsarga kind of lost his position there. But again, I mean, Recon did quite a great job from the side of Shata, but Team TDK as well. You know, they're trying to kind of take that approach in the game where they're actually, you know, won those kill-heavy games. But
yeah,
sometimes they're being successful. Most of the times they're not really able to. But I feel like TDK should stick to their basics.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the team sticking to the basics, which for them actually mean them just being really aggressive and just taking and destroying every single opponent they face, is the thing that the team is known for, trained to kill, as it says there in the game. But as we move to the match summary, look at this. Recon is going to be there with the highest damage and the highest kills. Hayabusa coming in with the maximum assist. So Shata did in fact do really well for themselves in this match. Joker with the most utility used, 11, and Fragboy from the side of Raw Official with the longest distance skill, 284 meters, which on Sanhok is actually a really good number.
Exactly, which on Sanhok is without a doubt a really good number. And this is what I was exactly saying, right? On the Sanhok map is the place where we do see a really like longest distance skill, and this has to be the longest one throughout the day as well. And of course, it's the man to meet the legend, Fragboy, again showing himself on the board. I'm pretty sure this is definitely going to be putting a little bit of relaxation smile on the lads of Raw faces. But again, getting back to the match ranking, here we have Skylightz Gaming again on the first place, and Raw with the consistent performance again onto that second place. So I am definitely happy for the lads of Raw, the way they are kind of moving in forward, the way they are showing their presence in the game. It definitely does feel good.
Well, as you said, it definitely does feel good. But let's see Over on the other side, I mean, it is going to be quite interesting to see what the other teams were able to accomplish because this was sort of a game for comebacks for PWP, T2K, based on how their day was going, and also just the fact that JyanMaara sort of failed to perform in this matchup might just be the thing that helps Raw Official out in closing the distance between them and JyanMaara and trying to secure the first position by the end of the day. Because tomorrow, EKTA Esports will be coming back, and that team they like to cause a lot of trouble.
As you did mention, XTREME will be coming back, and they definitely do like to like kind of just cause a lot of chaos in general, cause a lot of ruckus. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, the lads of Raw, the lads of the teams that are in the top four, they're trying their best to set an example. They're trying their best to set a target to the lads of XTREME, but. I mean, XTREME, again, if they just keep on the consistent performance the way they have up till now, then it's not really going to be that big of a task. It's not really going to be that tough of a task for them, surpass them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not going to be that big of a task for the team, but let's see. I mean, it is definitely going to be a big challenge though, because I mean, their sort of style is always starting out slow and then picking up the pace during the latter half of the day. So it is going to be quite interesting to see if how slow that start, in fact, is going to be for the team. In the meanwhile, as we do have the Oppo F19 Pro moments of this match, this is something that even Harame did not expect to happen. I mean, okay, Shata just coming out of nowhere, and PWP in the backlines as well, just getting them off guard along with the players of T2K, just the players getting finished out earlier on. And okay, Shata, the finish on high voltage, it was intense. We almost expected the whole team to get taken out, but no, they recovered quite nicely and they were able to make sure that they weren't the ones getting eliminated in that position.
As you did mention, they did make sure that they were the one to get eliminated in that position. But again, in the end, Raw did seem kind of shaky. But hey, as long as they were able to kind of get themselves, at least on that top few, props should be given to South out there. In the end, try to drill a hole through the tree. But yes, it's my job to convey a message that you can't really do that in the game of PUBG Mobile. But hey, the overall rankings are in front of us, in front of our eyes, and here we have the lads of. And here we have the last JyanMaara, and as well in the voices in my head has told us that we're not going to be having any break. We're straight up going to be heading inside.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's quite interesting as well.
I mean, it's going to be fun to watch. As you say,
Yeah.
I mean, we like to have action back to back for ourselves and for our viewers as well. And the break, I mean, it sort of makes us question our decisions as well. All right, what's going on? What are the teams going to do? Let's not give anyone time to think. Let's just jump right into the action after this game, just the last wrangle for the day. But we're going to have a look at the overall standings before we do that. So right now, T2K, they are making a climb. DRS sitting on the 11th position with 105 points. I believe that is pretty much it. DRS, they are going to move to the finals. But in the finals, it's going to be quite important for this team to perform and for us to see exactly what DRS is going to be capable of. Because, again, this is one of the best teams, if not the best team in Nepal right now. They have time and time again proven themselves on the international stages, and just as I said for Skylightz Gaming, seeing them not be a part of top 8, that is heartbreaking.
As you did mention, you have just seen them, but you haven't really seen, just kind of be in the top, just kind of be in the part of one. But again, I mean, DRS, the votes continue. BADCOPS slowly, steadily moving up, but the upcoming game is going to be the final one. They need to realize that this is the time to step up. They're really not going to be stepping up. That means, well, the opportunity is going to be slipping through their hands. And I mean, Johnny, I want you to give them a little bit of inspiring words from your side.
I don't have any inspiring words for these teams. I just want to say, like, if you realize it's the final few days, just go all in. You have nothing to lose. At this point, if you're sitting in the in the bottom 8, you have nothing to lose. Just go YOLO, play however you want, but just make sure that it is the best performance you're ever going to give out if you want to make it to the finals. That's all you're going to have to do. Play the best, play to the best of your abilities and capitalize on every single mistake that is being made by your opponents without making as few mistakes as possible from your end.
Yeah.
Along with that, this sort of an opportunity, being in the bottom 8 right now, gives you an opportunity to be over aggressive. Just go YOLO, catch the opponents off guard. They're going to expect you to not actually make a push because it does not make any sense for you to run out in the open and go for a charge like that. But hey, you have nothing to lose. So might as well just go for it, giving it a try. But we do have Erangel starting out right now, ladies and gentlemen, and the trajectory is going to go from Lipovka towards the
Yeah.
southwestern side of the map, quite close to Primorsk. So it is going to be leaning heavily towards the southern side. Let's see what the teams that like to drop towards Georgopol and the Georgopol city would do in this scenario.
Exactly, as you did mention, let's see what the teams that do really like to go towards that kind of an area. Let's see what they can do here in these kind of situations. But again, now, I mean, playing fly path, we did see it's kind of a little bit of sudden favored playing fly path, and on the other hand, DR shouldn't really have that big of a deal. They shouldn't really have that big of a trouble to get to Yasnaya. This is quite close, but the teams that do want to go towards Georgopol, as you did mention, they're going to be having a little bit of trouble to actually traverse around that. So I feel like maybe it's time to pull out your secretive cards and it's time to pull out that secondary drop location you have reserved.
Well, let's see. I mean, it is going to be quite interesting to see what the team is going to be able to accomplish with their secondary drop location. Raw official right now heading towards the Stalba Kamishki area, and I believe there's going to be an early skirmish right there because they aren't the only ones that are going towards that position. That's going to be a super early fight against the players of Ace, and it's going to be quite interesting to see who actually comes out on top. Susan starting off quite nicely with gold getting picked off from the side of Ace, and Ace are in a world of trouble right now as the players are going to be pinned down.
As you did mention, Ace are going to be in a world of trouble. Players getting pinned down as well, and Despot, well, I mean, he's the only man kind of in the close lines. The rest are a little far away, so at least they do have a little bit of safety cushion. At least they can run away from this situation. But what can Despot do rather than making some desperate plays happen? That's the only thing he can do because he's just pinned down in that corner of the house. And slowly and steadily, Van Raw is going to be looting around. But slowly and steadily, they do get to that corner house. I'm pretty sure Despot will be cleaned up.
Well, as you said, I mean, the ladder is going to be cleaned up, but it's going to be a while, and maybe he might just be able to clutch out a 1v1 situation. But Raw official, look at them. They are backing off. Again, this is going to be quite interesting because I believe even they realize they have a massive advantage against this squad, against this player right now. And them deciding to back off means they are going to try and see if they can secure the first position and take it away from the players of JyanMaara. Just not taking any chances running into a scuffle against, even if it's just a 1v4 situation. And that is going to be sort of a blessing in disguise for the players of Ace because now this allows them the opportunity to actually survive to the late game stages. And if the other lads can actually find decent loot for themselves, they might just be able to fight their way out of the situation.
You didn't mention the other guys, if they're not really able to find a decent amount of loot for themselves, they might just be out of this situation, which would be quite unfortunate to see. But again, look at this. Oh, no, you was about to get run over, but hey, at least he got knocked out before, and then maybe he got ran over and the kill got confirmed there. Now it's going to be the lads of Cops versus the lads of PWP. PWP on that receiving end. Pfizer is going to be the one to kind of deal a decent amount of damage onto them with that UMP. But now he's trying to find himself a cheeky angle. Look at this. PWP already handicapped. Now there's just down to those two men alive. TDK seems like, well, they also do want to join the fray here. And they're moving quite close. They're moving inside. They do realize if they want to actually make their mark inside the late game circles, they need to make it inside as quick as possible. And this is what I respect about TDK.
Well, as you said, it is going to be a thing that I believe almost every single team is going to respect about the lad, along with the fact that if you try and mess with them, they are just going to destroy you completely. But talk about destruction, and we have Orange taking on the players of BADCOPS. Steve Delta has been taken out right behind him. The possibility of revive is not going to be there. Plus, I mean, you are going to have to be careful in a situation where you are outnumbered right now. Orange is trying to see if he can spot out the other lads. In the meanwhile, Ruse in the back lines, he's trying to see if he can catch one of the lads from the side of Bad Cops off guard. Rana going for a charge right now. Orange is going to be completely pinned down and completely exposed. Delta is going to be finished off though, as Spicer's kill is going to be secured. Chari in the back lines on the other side, they're taking on the players of CampToWin, and Ace Chambu is going to find an opening against the players of Raw Official. So a little bit of a revenge play right there from Raw, but PWP, they are definitely getting taken out in these early game stages. Rules is going to be the last player surviving for the team, and I believe even he is going to get finished off as he's just hiding inside the shack all alone right now.
As you did mention, he's just hiding inside the shack all by himself. And, well, I mean, look at that. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of team, a little bit of team kills happening here and there. He got burned by his own Molotov, so that's quite unfortunate there. But yeah, Frag Point with the rest will be back on the Frag Punch, and that shouldn't really worry the lads of Raw for now. Looking quite great at the game. On the other hand, Bad Cops on a move. do realize they need to get a decent positioning. They need to get themselves a comfortable amount of loot as well. That's what they're really opting out for, and that's what they're going to be doing as well. Because BADCOPS, I mean, they have all four of their players alive, but somewhere down the line they're lacking on meds, and they desperately need those.
Well, let's see. As you said, they do desperately need the points
Oh my
coming
god!
their way, need the game to go their way. But we have a lot of fishes right now. Kings Nepal
Yeah.
and the players of Let's Go. A little bit of a swimming race between the two teams as the circle is moving towards the southern side and on the military island fights. I mean, this game is going to look definitely really interesting. JyanMaara, they are also going to go for a water rotation, I believe, as the team does manage to find themselves on the edge towards the Milta Power area, and after that, if try and swim over towards the Nova Repnoy side, it's going to be super deadly. But talk about deadly things, and one of them is going to be the players of T2K or the players of Kings Nepal, as they do manage to find a knock as soon as the player reaches the shorelines, and that is going to result in the players of both T2K and Let's Go sort of changing their trajectories and trying to see if there is going to be another position on the map where they can reach the land area, where they can reach the shore.
So you did mention they're going to be trying to find another way inside this island to actually see if they're going to be probably reaching on the show. But for now, TDK is doing quite a great job keeping these teams on the bay here, holding them on the bay. They're not going to let them move inside that easily. KINGsNepal again. I mean, they're quite lucky. They gotta thank their gods at this point. At least they're alive up till now, but they're soon gonna be suffocating underwater, and this is what Janie's really trying to do here. When they do start suffocating, they won't really have any other option rather than to just pop out and try and deal as rather than to just pop out and try and make it on the shorelines and just go for that death race.
Well, let's see. I mean, it is going to be a death race, as you said, but when is that going to begin? That is going to be a question. As now, look at this. High voltage is closing in for the backlines as well. And if they do spot out the players from the side of
Oh,
either Let's Go
oh my
or
god.
the players of Kings Nepal as they try and fall back, it's going to be a really deadly situation. But in the meanwhile, Jane is going to be taken out. T2K, what started as a good fight for them, is turning out to be a situation where the team can actually lose out on one of their teammates.
Well, they definitely did lose out on one of their teammates. Ozzy's going to be the one, like the thief in the night, to steal that kill away. But hey, as long as a little bit, as long as they don't really face a lot of problems, they're looking quite great up till now. TDK though, they did realize Kings have already made shorelines. Nixon still not compromised, but I like the option that Bobblefly's going here for. He's lobbing in that nade. He doesn't really know if there's going to be slithering snake, but he just has a little hint. Just wants to confirm, but he now does see the lad in the back line, all the way in the back lines, but he still has no clue that Nixon is really close. And this is where Nixon is probably trying to find the right moment. He's trying to find the right opportunity to strike.
Well, as you said, it is going to be quite critical that they find the right opportunity to strike. But let's see. I mean, if it's going to happen right now, as the players from the side of Kings Nepal do find themselves in a position from where they can actually fight back any sort of threat that comes their way. But in the meanwhile, Demon YT, he is still inside the waters, and it is not a position that he wants to be in right now. If he tries and gets close to his teammate, he might just get taken out. But T2K, they start to back off finally and try and disengage, because they were also out in the open without any cover, and Demon YT is going to use this information, try and see if he can reach the shoreline and catch blah 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 off guard.
Exactly. Try and reach the scoreline and try and see if he can catch him off guard there. But TDK, well, now they do see some lads at the front lines, and still they're trying to play it off a little safe because they have realized that they are kind of handicapped because man, who brings in a massive amount of gun power onto the lads of TDK, he has been eliminated. He has been subtracted from the squad of TDK. That means they need to be a little cautious because Jane is kind of like the helping hand of the team, and if that helping hand has been already cut off, that means TDK are quite vulnerable.
Well, let's see. Oh, blah blah blah, going for the shots on Demon right there. And as you said, I mean, the helping hand, the man who was responsible for pulling a lot of pressure away from his teammate has been taken down. Blah 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 is definitely trying his level best to see if he can take out Demon, but he does not know the exact position of where Demon is inside this massive river between the two islands. So it's going to be quite difficult for them to make it work. But over on the backlines of Sarga is going to be able to find a knock. One of the players from the side of DRS has been taken down. But getting a finish right now, it's going to be really difficult for this squad. And T2K, even though they're trying really, really hard to control the shoreline. It's not going to be an easy job. They need to realize that getting and finding some cover for themselves right now should be the highest priority.
Exactly. It should definitely be the highest priority there. And for now, TDK, I mean, Sargon, blah blah blah, are down like 70% HP. I mean, sorry, I mean they have 70% HP and they're down like 30% now. So this is where I mean each and every single kind of chip damage really matters, and this is what TDK is really trying to do here. They just spot a pixel off Demon. This is where they're really trying to connect some shots, or maybe just some blind shots being taken to keep distance, to keep Demon onto his bay there, to keep Demon suppressed behind that initial cover, to make sure Demon's not really peeking out, to make sure the fear is in the Demon. But hey, his name is Demon at the end of the day. Maybe we expect some demonic plays from his side.
Maybe. Let's see if we're going to expect some demonic plays from the lad. Nixon is in the backline as well, and I believe he's going to be able to catch blah blah blah. Of course, that's going to be the opening that the players from KINGsNepal needed. Blah 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 is going to be instantly finished off. One more player from the side of T2K is going to be caught off guard as Demon is finally going to find his way onto the shoreline, and now he's going to make the players of T2K pay for what they were doing to him, putting him in so much pressure, putting him in so much trouble. Just two players from the side of T2K is surviving, and again, the lads do not have any cover available to them.
As I did mention, they just don't really have any cover available to them, and I mean, even if they don't really have that, the tables have been flipped. TDK looked so good to start the fray off, and out of nowhere, in the ending phases, they just seem like they're completely crumbling down. This is a little bit of a problematic situation for TDK because, as I did mention, the helping hand Jane was out of the game. That's why they were quite vulnerable. But look at the rotation that's being made all the way on the southern side. There is a team that is rotating all the way from the edge lines of the circle, all the way from the south, and then slowly and steadily making it onto the southern side of the military island. And it seems like it's going to be, yeah, we do see Hayabusa there as well. So yeah, so they're probably going to be getting a safe entrance inside this initial area. So they should be looking at least great for now.
Well, as you said, they should be looking at least really great for now. Aayo Team Ts on the southern side of the map, but the circle!
Oh no!
This is just brutal to the players of CampToWin. Aayo Team Ts, JyanMaara, BADCOPS, Raw Official, everyone is just stuck on the edges of the military island. The circle moves right between the river, and now I believe Harame find themselves in a really tricky position. So they have control of the of a certain buildings of the military base, but how do they move in?
How do they move in? Well, I guess that's the question that I'm wondering for myself as well. Because look at that now. Well, said still on the other island, and I don't really know. I mean, it's already too late, right? And this is what we've been talking about since the start. When it's the military island, you got to make sure you're inside the circle as quick as possible. High voltage will find themselves a safe entry because the entire bridge line is clear, and Extreme has already made it to the other end. High voltage will be looking pretty safe for now, but the main question really depends here, or the main question really is here, is that how are Wayout SATAN going to be making it inside? Because the only thing they have is a little bit of edge, a little bit of ridge inside the zone, and then the zone shifts away from them. When the zone takes the brutal shift away, I don't really know how are they going to be able to kind of withstand that mental pressure.
Well, let's see. As you said, how are they going to withstand the mental pressure that's going to be put upon them right now? It's not going to be easy for sure, but the players of Harame do manage to find a good high ground for themselves. Their shacks quite close to the military bridge area on top of the mountain, but there's going to be a massive fight coming in their direction. Talk about fights towards the Nova Repnoy containers is where we do see the players of Raw Official actually in a bit of a situation with the players of BADCOPS who are getting taken out right now, but Raw Official are not in a good position themselves. They are inside this blue zone, and it is going to be dishing out a lot of damage on these lads, so they are definitely not safe.
Exactly, they're definitely not safe. And look at that as well. I mean, Kong just swimming around him, being like, Susan, don't worry, you're not the only one here. I'm here with you as well. Just giving him that comfort, just kind of motivating him for the fights, getting his blood pumped up, giving him that adrenaline rush as well. And this is why you got to have that with you all the time. This is why Kong is there to have your back.
Well, let's see. But Gunner from the back lines is going to be able to catch A-Spot off guard. TS in a lot of trouble. Gunner needs to be careful. I'm pretty sure he heard the vehicle and knows exactly where Zod is. It's the last two players surviving from the side of Aayo Team Ts. Gunner with a wonderful
Oh,
nade. It's going to be a bit short. Zod. Oh, it's
oh no, it's
perfect.
not.
I thought it was going to be a bit
Oh,
short,
boy.
but no, he catches Zod completely off guard, and Aayo Team TS is going to be taken out slowly and steadily as Gun is going to be the last player. Gunner turns around, takes the shots, and that is going to be it. Aayo Team TS getting wiped out on the edge of the circle. They were trying their best to find their way in, but JyanMaara, the gatekeepers, do not let anyone enter.
You meant to say Aayo Team Ts expects, hopes the nade is short, but hey, we knew that. Come on, from the start, the nade's not going to be really short there. But on the other hand, JyanMaara, well, look at that. Completely wiping out the lads of base. This time they're not really going to be seen in the game anymore. DRS Gelson as well kind of stepping themselves up. So what do you think so, Johnny, here? Is DRS finally going to be able to set their mark on the table or no?
Well, I believe they're trying the level best. They just have one kill secured, and they're being really sneaky about this. So it is going to be quite interesting to see exactly where this game is going to head in terms of how the players from the side of DRS are going to play it out. But let's see. I mean, just being extremely careful. They did let the players of BADCOPS get inside the cover, so that might be a thing. And also, the players from DRS are split apart away from each other. So it's going to be really tricky to make this work. But talk about tricky things. Skylightz Gaming 300 meters away from the circle right now, and it's not going to be easy for this squad to actually find their way inside the circle scot-free. They are definitely going to be challenged in certain positions, and they will have to fight for entry inside the safe zone.
Exactly. They will have to fight for the entry inside the safe zone. Look at Susan. Is still all the way in the back lines. Looking a little safe for now, but look at the back lines of Skylightz Gaming. They do hear those desperate rotations being made from their enemy lines there. They do see those desperate rotations happening as well from the lines of XTREME. But again, taking shots at least revealing your position as well. But for now, Skylightz Gaming, they just don't really care. All they want are those kills in their hands, and at the same time, trying to get themselves a decent positioning. That's pretty much what all the teams want here. High Voltage stepping themselves up. And unfortunately, the team that was making those desperate rotations happen, XTREME have now been eliminated.
Well, okay, Shata getting taken out earlier on in this game. The points are definitely not going to be there for the team, but Skylightz Gaming, look at them on the edge of the circle right now. They have to worry about the team towards their right on the high ground as well. Raw Official is going to be taken down as well. Aussie from the distance is going to try and see if he can spray down Leon, but the damage comes in on him first, and Leon with a wonderful DP spray does manage to connect a perfect headshot. High Voltage, the teammates are here. Aussie trying to go for a revive, but Leon is not stopping, still trying to dish out the damage, and Havoc is going to be taken down really low as well, one after the other. The players of High Voltage are losing their HP. The HP bars are getting depleted, and Leon alone is doing a wonderful job taking these players down. Look at that,
Oh my
Havoc is
God.
going to be knocked out as well.
Yeah, Havoc being knocked out as well, and Leon, as you did mention, is doing quite a great job, slowly, steadily, just chipping away damage onto them. High Voltage on that receiving end, as we all did see. Skylightz Gaming now, with the front lines, there are some teams roaming around here and there. Being just a team casually, but unfortunately at this time he's not really going to be able to use his aura to hide himself. But instead, Demon gets revealed, and this is where he will have to pay the price for making those demonic plays happen. He will be punished instantly. Skylightz Gaming now, Leon, again, dealing damage as always. Kings is going to be the one in the front lines, so Skylightz Gaming will have to approach them a little safely.
Well, as you said, I mean, there has to be a safe approach right now. Let's see if that is actually going to happen. They do have another team that they have to worry about in the back lines, and if they fail to spot them out, if they fail that fight, then that's going to be it. Skylightz Gaming, they are going to be taken out of nowhere. But in the meanwhile, High Voltage, the revives have happened. All the players are back on their feet again. The circle, look at that, still on the players of Harame, smack in the center of the circle. It should be their game. They need to make sure that they conquer this game. They get the chicken dinner in this match, and all they have to worry about is going to be the team in the backlines. CampToWin are going to put a lot of pressure on a lot of teams.
Exactly. They're going to be putting on a lot of pressure onto a lot of teams here. Smoke in the front lines as well. And, well, I mean, that's going to be providing them a temporary cover, but not a permanent. As long as the smokes are there, as long as the smokes are online, they will be safe. But on the other hand, you also do see xACEx stepping himself up. Wayout SATAN on that receiving end. Harame Viking now. Does see some people kind of making those rotations in the front lines, but still isn't really taking any shots because in these kind of late game circles, I mean, yeah, your priority here is to kind of out survive each and every single situation, each and every single task that is being put in front of you. But also, the main kind of thing you need to watch out for is not being the center of attraction. And this is why taking those unnecessary shots will also give your position away. That means most of the times you will be the center of attraction here. But high voltage now, they did make it inside the circle. But look at that. So much damage is already being dealt onto them. 3 players are down low, but still, it's not going to be stopping them from approaching them.
Well, as you said, it's not going to be stopping them from approaching the position, but it is going to be quite tricky for Skylightz Gaming to make it work right now. High voltage just taking down one individual, but Assassin was traded out. Chari is going to be taken out from the side of high voltage right now. The 3 players pinned out in the shack down below, and the smoke has been deployed by the lads as well in order to create some cover, but also with the nades should be able to catch 1 or 2 individuals off guard. Let's see if that is actually going to happen, since the players are going to be playing around the shack as well. Leon in the backline, Joker just thrown out in front, just using the UAS as some cover. It is not going to be easy for Skylightz Gaming to actually come out on top on this fight, but if anyone can do that, it is going to be them. And as I say, that XTREME is going to be taken out and finished off. High voltage just down to 2 last players surviving for the team. JyanMaara in the backlines though in some trouble against the players of T2K.
As you did say, JyanMaara in the back lines is in some trouble against the class of TDK. Skylightz Gaming trying to make themselves a little bit safety kind of environment, but that's not going to be possible, especially in these like late kind of moments. JyanMaara finally stepping up huge and coming out on top in that fight is what they really needed. Now all the burden is down to Shaha. Now all the burden is down on his shoulder. He needs to get his teammate back on foot. And this, as I said, you also want to make sure you're not really being the center of attraction. This is what exactly happened. As soon as Let's Go Fishtail heard those shots, as soon as they were like, they found their opportunity, they strike in, and this is where JyanMaara is finally on the receiving end now, but they also need to make it inside. The zone is favoring no one. It was actually made in the no man's land, but slowly, steadily, we do see teams traversing inside.
Well, slowly and steadily, we do see teams moving in, but everyone is just sticking close to the ground, prone out. Do not want to be the ones standing up and taking all those shots into this match right now. It's going to be really risky for anyone to try and go for the challenge. Havoc, the last player surviving for the team, he is trying to see if he can get away from the players of Skylightz Gaming who know exactly where he is. He needs to be extremely careful. His armor is gone. All he has is that helmet to protect him, but in the backlines on the other side, DRS AJ is going to be taken out by the players of BADCOPS, who are doing a pretty incredible job right now and have managed to secure a decent number of kills as well. But it's not going to be easy for BADCOPS to survive, as it is just a 3-man roster that's still alive, and Harame device is going to manage to dish out a little bit of damage onto the players, but still no knock is going to be secured. And with the nade, maybe he can find an opening, and if he does, he just might be able to take out the squad and get a few more kills for his team.
As I did mention, he just wants to make sure or find, just want to know if he can actually take care of that team. And look at that. Winkle being rammed in straight inside and sees like Skylightz Gaming. Joker is going to be single-handedly taking care of them, single-handedly eliminating him out the game as well. It's just kind of like the head first into the walls of the situation being shown from the alliance of JyanMaara. But keep this in mind as well. They have got themselves 10 freaking kills. They have had a huge game, but unfortunately they weren't really able to get those placement points for themselves, which is completely fine. Still, consistency is being made.
Well, let's see. As you said, the consistency is definitely being made by the team and by the lads. And oh, Mafia Ninja is going to take a massive nade to the face from Maskey. Now the Molotov is going to be tossed out as well. Mafia Ninja is going to take up damage, and I believe he's going to be finished off before his teammates can actually reach him. It is going to be a troublesome situation, but Maskey is going to be taken down. Now that results in BADCOPS down to just 1 last player surviving for the team. That's going to be Black. DRS putting up a lot of pressure, but if Black has a nade, all the players of DRS can be taken out. They are huddled up together, and I believe Black is moving forward with the nade in his hand. He's going to pick up the first stage from his teammate's spray, and he's going to have to heal up before he tries and re-engage in a fight, but Mafia Ninja is going to retaliate. He was taken out by a nade, and with a nade, he's going to make sure that BADCOPS, they do get wiped out from this match.
Exactly, they do get wiped out from this match, and look at this now. DRS Galton, high voltage, unfortunately not really able to survive more than the 5th position, so they will be eliminated on 5th. This brings us to a conclusion that they're only top 4 teams alive in the game. Top 10 people are alive, top 10 players alive. This is where DRS as well have trying to chip away some damage. Unfortunately, they're not really able to find a successful opening thread. Once they do, I'm pretty sure they will be working around it. Solid Gaming, look at this. They have the majority of the map advantage. They have the majority of the map covered, but also at the same time, I mean, they are in the circle. The circle is favoring them. That means, Skylightz Gaming will pretty much get a back-to-back. I mean, I am saying it. I know I might just be a little early to say, but still, I mean, look at this. Each and every single thing is on their side. The stars do seem aligned for the side of Skylightz Gaming.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, the stars are aligned for the team, and they should be the ones to secure the chicken dinner in this match. But let's see if that is going to happen. 3 players still alive. Harame and DRS seem to be the teams that can actually contest their position, but it's going to be really difficult. OG Lord from the side.
Oh.
Let's go. It's finally going to be finished off by Choker, and now we're down to the top 3 teams of this game. Mafia Ninja is going to be caught off guard. Spirit, he might just be able to find an opening. This is a lot of damage, but no, fails to do that. Switches over to the next man. That is going to be Nima, but Nima takes him down. Device is taking a lot of damage from the backlines as well, and DRS and Skylightz Gaming have this squad of Harame sandwiched right now. It's just down to the last player, Device, and he is on 50% HP, hiding out in the open, just prone out between the grass. It's not going to be easy for him to stay alive for long. He might just try and take out one individual from the side of Skylightz Gaming before he actually does get taken out, but the players of DRS are right next to him as well. So I believe he's going to be taken out, and yes, there it is. Leon finds the opening. It's between Skylightz Gaming and the players of DRS right now.
But the problem here is that majority of circle is being covered by the last Skylightz Gaming. They're like the soldiers that are guarding their border. They're not going to let anyone just sneak inside. They're guarding their lines over here. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be really tough to steal it away from the lads of Skylightz Gaming. But as I do say, just like a thief in the night, AJ is stealing that kill away with a wonderful nade placement coming in. What a way! And we do know Leon. Yep, I gotta say, Jari and Leon, they have to be one of the best like users out there. They just utilize that burst in those long ranges. They utilize the entire spray, of course, in those mid to close ranges. But yeah, again, as expected, as I did say, as I concluded quite early, that Skylightz Gaming is going to be the one to actually get that in their hands. And that's what they do. Skylightz Gaming, again, back-to-back wins. Pretty much impressive performance throughout the day.
Yeah. I mean, 3 chicken dinners from Skylightz Gaming in a single day. As you said, impressive performance, and I have to say, this is the standard for Skylightz Gaming. This is what this team always looks like. 12 kills, 27 points, and the 3rd position in the overall ranking. That is what we have been wanting to see from day 1, from the quarterfinals of this tournament. And now finally, Skylightz Gaming, they are delivering to sort of what exactly you want to see from their side. But let's see. I mean, I want to look at the overall rankings as well, because DRS did really well in this game. Then we had Harame doing a wonderful job in this matchup as well. Let's Go did a pretty decent job, but I want to see where does this match exactly bring them. Are they going to be in a safer position in the overall standings, or are they still going to be in some trouble?
Exactly, same. I really do want to take a look at the overall ranking score, but I'm pretty sure before that we'll have to go through the match ranking board as
Yeah.
well and try and find out how things really went out, and then we'll have to go through the MVP and all that. You know, all that process needs to be done. But
Yep.
so you know, I do hate it myself. A little bit of suspense is being created up till now, and all the viewers will have to wait as well. You know, do not leave right now. There's still a massive link yet to be revealed, so you got to stick around with us. It's fun. You can hear me and Johnny have a little conversation, you know, talk about the game, talk about life. But yeah, getting our heads back in the game. I mean, yeah, impressive performance by Skylightz Gaming. I mean, as I expected them to kind of dominate, taking a look as soon as I kind of came in, you know, as I did mention, I wasn't really here for the past days. But as soon as I took a glance at the overall ranking, I was like, okay, Skylightz Gaming is really far away, and considering the fact that this is they only have 2 more days upcoming, I'm expecting Skylightz Gaming to dominate, as my words as well throughout the days have been. Precaution is better than pure. It seems like Skylightz Gaming has heard it.
Well, they have heard it indeed, as you said, and they were able to prevent them being in a really bad position before they get taken out. So this game was an incredible performance, but it is going to be really impressive to see what exactly Leon actually did accomplish in this match. 840 damage by Leon and 5 kills secured, 3 assists as well. He was impressive. I mean, the spray that caught the player from Highlight Gaming, High Voltage off guard, Aussie, I believe, was the man that he took down with the DP spray. It was really incredible to watch the way he did it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ozzy, of course, from the squad of high voltage, he is really a great player, and I gotta say he has stepped up quite a lot since the quarterfinals and since the PMPL days. I mean, Ozzy, of course, he has had kind of like consistent place in the squad of high voltage, but I still felt like Assassin is the one who kind of outshines more in the entire squad of high voltage. But finally, to like stole that place away. I do like to see that Ozzy is the one kind of stepping himself up now. Assassin can, just chill back a little bit and have a great time and enjoy the game. But yeah, if you look at the match summary as well, it seems like Harame was all over the place. Match rankings as well, and right in the front of your guys' eyes. Skylightz Gaming, back-to-back chicken dinners. DRS Gaming as well, with one of the most consistent performances in the game. They're trying their best. Finally now they're realizing that placement points are really important as well, and that's why they're going for those placements.
Well, as you said, I mean, they are going for those placements, and that is the thing that's going to keep them in the fight. But look at this, Ace again, back to the old ways, not securing any points from this. And it was quite unfortunate. I mean, the circle itself from the very start of the game was really tricky for a lot of those teams. But let's see, Wayout SATAN also in the bottom 8 of the standings. Although they were able to secure 3 kills for themselves, just walking away with those 4 points is going to be the thing that they have to be happy with.
Exactly. Going for those places and going for those games in general. PWP, now, in the match rankings, unfortunately, PWP didn't really have the day today as well. I think so. Throughout the day, PWP wasn't really able to do that great. Yeah, they did have some of those placements where they were getting into those top 2, top 3 placements, but again, they didn't really get that chicken dinner throughout the day, so it was quite unfortunate. But again, we do know PWP is one of those high-calibrated teams, and we do know they have the caliber to kind of outshine and withstand all the other teams that are in the lobby. But yeah, again, taking a look at the Overplay Team Pro moments, these are how some of the best utilities, I gotta say, some of the best utility usage was on the final map of Erangel.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, some of the best utility users was seen in this matchup as well, and it was quite impressive to see how the teams actually did, in fact, play around those smokes, because it was quite important, especially for teams like Skylightz Gaming, as we did see them close in from the military island, military base side of things, and it was open area that they had to traverse. And this fight as well, the charge coming in from the players of JyanMaara, there was a lot of pressure on these lads. Then the grenade exchange between BADCOPS and DRS was incredible to watch as well. But in the end, Skylightz Gaming, they were able to secure this chicken dinner for themselves, and it was an impressive performance nonetheless. But now, ladies and gentlemen, the day does belong to JyanMaara, the team that was again able to secure the first position, the throne right now in the standings for themselves. Although again, we have to be quite critical for this team. Their performance has slowed down quite a bit since compared to day one.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like they were doing quite a great job, Yes, I feel like at this point today, JyanMaara was a team, if they actually did play, they played quite good. If they didn't really play, they would, get eliminated quite early off. But I still feel like even if these things are happening, they're still maintaining that consistent factor in the game, and that's why they are able to maintain that first place with a great lead as well. So as long as they do have the first place with a decent amount of lead, that's all that really matters. And this is what JyanMaara is really going for here. But at this point, we can pretty much easily say this, right? That JyanMaara pretty much will be qualifying for the finals because they have solidified that place.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they are pretty much qualifying, and I believe for them it's more than just making it to the finals. I mean, they are on the first position. There's no way they are getting taken out. But as I said, for them it is about making a statement that they will be contesting the trophy, and they will definitely be putting up a really difficult fight for every single one of the other squads that will be facing them in the finals. But look at this. So let's go in Harame. We do see them on the 13th and the 14th position. So depending on how games go for the teams of Group B tomorrow, teams like Elementrix, teams like Group C, teams like Elementrix, Team XTREME, PN Crew, how all these teams play, that is the thing that will define whether Harame and Let's Go will be moving forward to the finals or not. So that is a really tricky position to be in, and I believe there is definitely some trouble for these squads already.
Exactly, as you did mention, there is definitely going to be some of the trouble involved all the time, pretty much for these teams already. But yeah, tomorrow is the time when teams like Miramar Gaming also do chime in. So hopefully they are going to be able to, get themselves kind of out from that final spot, from all the way down to that 24th spot, because they're stuck in there, and they need to get out no matter what they do. Because I mean, again, in the end, someone will have to be in the bottom lines. But our gaming up, they do have quite a decent reputation in the Nepal region, and I did not really expect them to be down in the bottom like that.
Well, let's see. I mean, they are going to try their level best to climb up again. But looking at the overall leaders, it looks like it's going to be really difficult to take Gunner down from this position as
Yeah.
he is sitting on 39 kills so far. And then on the second, we have Aussie with just 29 kills to his game. And that is from one good game that Gunner had today. So it is quite impressive what JyanMaara are able to accomplish with every single wonderful performance that they put. And it's just that one game that can change everything for them.
As it did mention, that all that really matters is that one single game, and it can change the entire course of the day, it can change the entire course of the game as well. And throughout the day, report, hey, here we have in front of you, lads. Skylightz Gaming was the one who just had the most damage.
Yeah, most damage being dished out by Skylightz Gaming, although JyanMaara were the ones who picked up the most kills. 35 Raw Official were on the worst side of things in terms of the fights that they took, healing the most in every single
Yeah.
situation. But knockouts again, Skylightz Gaming are going to be leading the charge over there. And damage received this time, it is going to be DRS. I believe it has to be those tricky fights in the map of Miramar and
Yeah.
in the in Sanhok as well, them just getting taken out the way that it happened. So it was quite interesting to see how DRS sort of tried to recuperate in the very last game, but still tomorrow it is going to be another day, and DRS they will have to try and see if they can manage to secure at least a few chicken dinners before the finals and regain the form that they lost.
Exactly. I mean, DRS damage received quite a lot there. Seems like well they were definitely receiving damage from all the sorts
Yeah.
of angles on the sort of side. And unfortunately, I mean they did have quite a consistent day. Gotta say that. I mean, this is what you expect. Even if DRS don't really want to try, they still do come out on top sometimes. And this is what they really did, right? And this is what you expect from a team like DRS. On the other hand, Skylightz Gaming, I mean, had a hell of a day throughout the time. Got themselves back to back three chicken dinners, which is insane.
Yeah, it was insane indeed. But I mean, what is going to happen tomorrow? Only time will tell. Again, Group C will be coming back into the action. PN Crew is going to be there. Elementrix is going to be there. Extreme is going to be there along with the squad of Vibes. So
Yeah.
I'm quite excited to see what Vibes are going to be able to accomplish in the matches that they play tomorrow. Because now, again, Vibes is a team that is always looking to challenge the top three. They want to get that podium finish, even though it doesn't mean anything right now. All it means is that you will be moving with a lot of momentum to the finals. But let's see what's going to happen tomorrow. Although our matches for today is done. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, bye bye. Take care.